All right, so welcome everybody to D&D The Aftermath, session number 2, Baldur's Gate. And whenever you are ready to give us a recap.
All right. So, when we last saw our adventures, they were in the midst of combat. The group tracking down a log of slaves stumbled across a scouting group, which they quickly dispatched. Upon further investigation, they found a grisly scene. The slave encampment apparently had stopped to make camp, and during so, a demon that had led this rogue group of cultists had been feasting on the slaves when you arrived. In a bizarre instance when the fighting occurred, the demon revealed himself for his true form. Tyber, in a gallant attack and fury, righteous, holy fury, struck and became himself a bolt of lightning and struck the devil down. Combat was swift, but intense as the rest of the cultists were dispatched and the slaves were freed. After deliberation, one of the cultists was taken with the group, along with the entourage of slaves, onward to Baldur's Gate. When you reached the gate, the slaves, the now freed men, thanked you for all of your help and fled towards their bright futures. There was an exchange upon reading a sign, a call to arms, what had led you to Baldur's Gate initially up to this point. You checked in with a sergeant at arms, and after a brief discussion about wanting to continue the interrogation yourselves, relinquished your prisoner and made your way to the Purple Worm Inn. There you sought 2 rooms and rested, and you wake the next day knowing that in 2 more days, 2 mornings from today, you're going to be summoned to speak with Duke Antarshil Silvershield himself. So the morning comes, the hustle and bustle of the city, a large port city, starts early. The sun's not quite risen, and a thick layer of fog encapsulates everything that you can see outside of the courtyard, the windows to the center courtyard of the inn. You hear everyone rustling as they wake, and that's where we're going to start.
Let's do it.
You said the first name of the Duke was Antarshil?
Entar, correct. E-N-T-A-R.
Entar. Oh, Willie, can I get you to do something real quick?
Sure, what's up?
Under the journal section, if you right-click under characters, can you add a notepad thing? So just add a text file, basically, and then associate it to me.
Just a handout?
Yeah, just a standard handout, and then set the edit and view to me. I like to track everything in game so I don't lose it.
Okay.
So then once you get that done, you click edit, and then you put the view and the edit. There you go.
I think. There you go. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you change the name of that?
Yep, I'm changing it now. There we go.
Okay, cool.
Flatfoot's notepad.
Hey, there we go.
Thank you.
So we're at the Purple Worm in the upper city, right?
Correct. So the upper city is up on the hillside, separated by the old wall. And the old wall then goes to the lower city, which is the merchant center trade wards, the heart of the city. That's what makes Baldur's Gate Baldur's Gate.
All right, so as we're all kind of waking up and getting up, I'm going to immediately just kind of wash my face off and then don my boom suit. I do as quickly as possible at all times, just in case. I kind of look around at everybody else. Well, it seems we've arrived. We have at least another day or two until we're able to see about employment with this Duke Silverhand. Does anyone know much about the city, about Baldur's Gates?
No, but I think we're fixing to find out real soon.
Mm-hmm. Let me see him, boys.
You want history checks?
Yeah. Almost.
1 sec.
Wrong side.
Clicked on the wrong thing here. You could probably go on without mine. There we go. I got it back up. Man, yeah, you could probably go without my roll. It's fine.
Ooh. Well, now it's going to be who has the worst one. Who knows the least? So, Havoc and Zorn, you guys both realize that, or have, a pretty solid understanding of Baldur's Gate. It's one of the largest, top 3 cities in the Sword Coast as far as like importing and exporting. The little bit of lore that you do know, people in Baldur's Gate, they are Baldurons, not Baldurians. Baldurian is the name of someone who followed Balduron, the guy who started Baldur's Gate, and it's considered super offensive. The city itself is separated into the upper city and lower city. You can kind of see on the map. I'm gonna move. There we go. But how it's split. This is the hillside. The west side is actually a high raised hill that slopes down this enclosure. A series of caves pockmark the underside of the upper city, where warehouses and stored goods move to and from all day and night. The city doesn't really sleep. Also with the weather, the fog and persistent kind of rain is very indicative of the area. They get hammered all year by precipitation, rain in the summer, spring, and then in the fall and winter they get hammered by snow and ice. The city also has a very intricate subway system or sewer system. There's so much water. The water has to collect and contain and be moved out. Many adventure here in Baldur's Gate has started in the sewers of this city. And the other big one is deity worship. They're merchants first, so all deities, even ones that are considered categorically evil, are allowed to practice. The temple district straddles the upper city and lower city, with those unpopular deities residing in the lower city.
What exactly do they consider unpopular?
Things that would be of an evil alignment, anything that requires sacrifice or death. They understand those deities exist and they have worship, but they're not going to glorify them here.
Then I suppose it's all right that Our Lady of Silver isn't in that list of the bad ones.
No, I think that she's quite the opposite of them.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps I can visit a temple while we're here, get a little time in the church, and, spread the gospel a bit.
Let's see, what would I want to do here?
With 2 days, it'd be plenty of time to seek out anything that you wanted to do.
And we know that this place, check my notes, Yeah, Purple Worm Inn and Tavern is used by a lot by adventurers, right?
Correct. This is a well-traveled hall, but it's commonly used by merchants, and with merchants come independent merchants come hired hands and sell swords and adventurers.
Is this the one closest to the eastern gate over here, if I remember correct? Is that right?
No, you're in the upper city, so you're to the west.
Oh, we're upper city.
You came in here through the main gate.
Okay.
And you would be right outside
Yep.
the main upper city merchant.
I don't know why I was thinking for some reason it was lower city, like we're close to the gate. I think that's because in Tyranny, the first inn we came to was the far eastern gate. Whenever we got there,
coming into your little couch,
when we got to where was that first big city, El Terrell or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which lies just
not too far from
east of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we could see the sights. I've heard this place is a bit rough around the edges, but I'm sure we could handle ourselves out and about. I'd rather not just sit here and wait for the next 2 days.
It's not exactly like we live in High Cotton or anything like that. We can mingle with the best of them.
Indeed. Shaking my head at not understanding all of these weird sayings, but just kind of nodding and smiling.
Right.
We've heard Flatfoot is interested in the local religion. Belguts and Aiken, do you have any suggestions? Anything you would like to see?
I think I'd just like to take the town and see what we can see. No, nothing. See what jumps out at me.
Seems reasonable. Aiken, anything?
No, not currently.
Well, I suppose we could set out, maybe explore the lower city we've yet to see, and see what trouble we can get into.
Trouble.
Well, that seems to be our MO at this point.
Yeah, so as you make your way to the common area, there's a strong smell of freshly cooked meats and bread. The barman that you see now is not the same one that you saw coming forward. This large, of course, bald man wearing a leather tunic, cleaning a mug, looks at you and nods his head towards you, inviting you to come over.
Kind of walk over and sit down at the bar. Well, what's on the menu this morning for breakfast?
He reaches out with a big, meaty hand to you. There's a Ballmaster Devon cask.
I'll kind of look down at his hand and nod and reach out and take his Archimedes Spark Notes, Invention Wizard.
Good meeting you.
This one's just trying not to die, that's all.
He nods
Usually.
in kind to the rest of you, greeting you. So the breakfast is on the house every morning. If you'd like something to drink, you can come see me.
House.
You're good for 2 days.
On the house, that's not quite the best business proposition I've ever heard, but I'll take your offer.
Yeah, we got a good relationship with the merchants. We keep them armed up. They know where to come find good help. They cut us a deal on the food.
So you're saying the merchants regularly populate this tavern to seek out employees, then?
Aye, we got a reputation, and rather than trying to fight it, we just went with it.
That's a very intelligent business approach, I think.
Well, creek don't rise, I suppose everything's good, right?
yes. Kind of survey, like, what's the populace inside the tavern look like?
As you, I need perception checks for everyone. You're good at this.
I should be.
I am not. It's like, you gotta be at food.
Is there ale? I want ale. Give me ale.
You said there's free food, right? Yeah.
Flatfoot and Archimedes, you both, as you start looking around the room, a figure jumps out at you. Let's get back to my notes. Sorry. You see a hood slightly drawn forward on a clearly feminine face, with a face surrounded by what looks to be almost wet hair. A road-traveled coat is drawn about, but done so deliberately in a way to try and conceal the weapons that you can see, plural. Underneath, you can also see a set of armor, leather armor, well-oiled and what looks to be scarred. As you notice her, you see her noticing you.
Oh, that seems like one that's best not to tango with if the weapons are any indication.
Yeah, certainly has eyes for one of us. Not quite sure which one, though.
Devin leans over, kind of hears, like, she's waiting on you, lads.
On us?
Come again.
She came in first thing this morning asking for you. I figured I'd ask a few questions and see what your intent was. You didn't seem like the type paying in advance as you were to cause too much trouble. So I wonder what a gauntlet mage is doing here looking for you.
I ain't never seen such a thing in my life. Are we gonna go over and talk to this lady to begin with?
What did he call her?
A gauntlet major.
Gauntlet major.
Not gonna eat first, we're just gonna...
Apparently we're not getting
yes,
any
Bella,
breakfast.
you can get breakfast if you'd like me to go speak with this individual. Somebody wants to join me.
No, I'll accompany you. I just not quite keen on the fact that this woman was already here scoping out the place looking for us. Almost like she knew we were coming here.
Well, we did make a bit of an entrance with the story of our taking out the cultists. Maybe our reputations are preceding us.
You're a little more, a little more believing in people thinking highly of us than I am. Not quite so sure this lady is all about that life.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Suppose
I'll
you're
kind
right.
of get up, start walking towards her. She like seated at a table by herself, or
1 second, sorry.
Yeah, Flatfoot will join Archimedes here.
Yes, she is. She's sitting at a table by herself, a large table, you know. But clearly, everyone in the room that.
nope.
Nope.
Oh no.
Oh no! There he is.
Hello.
Sorry about that. We're good. You see what seem to be merchants and other people just having breakfast, unarmed and unarmored, giving her a wide berth.
Interesting. I'm gonna walk up to the table and kind of stand up, not too close to her, trying to stay somewhat out of weapon reach. Kind of look down at her. Yes, miss, we were told that we were to... you wanted to speak with us, I believe.
Gauntlet Major, or I was keeping up his voice. Sorry. It's Gauntlet Major of the Flaming Fists. Lady Pickett. Sit.
I know a thing or two about the Flaming Fists. I sure hope you have a better proposition than what those did in Chult.
She looks up and kind of seeing you talk, narrows her eyes. You come here to have that conversation? I came here to talk with you about other matters.
And we gladly accommodated you by coming over. We could have very easily just walked away and not paid any attention to you.
There are questions I have that need to be answered to determine if you're going to stay in this city any longer.
Well, I guess that's to be decided then. No, Flatfoot will grab a chair and kind of pull it over and slowly have a seat, keeping a very close eye on her.
She looks to the others. Are the rest of you going to be this hostile this early?
What my friend was meaning to say is we will be happy to cooperate with any authorities in any manner of investigation. We have nothing to hide, and certainly no quarrel with the Flaming Fists. So I'm kind of looking over towards Flatfoot.
Oh, Flatfoot, you can see it. Like, his eyes are, like, narrowed in on her, and, like, he's watching. Like, Flaming Fists aren't, like, his favorite people to begin with.
I'll kind of sigh and sit down. Can I motion for the others to join us?
Lady Pickett's, her posture is going to kind of sit up now that clearly there's a little bit of tension, but without revealing much in her face. You can tell she's, if nothing else, she's wearing her weapons like a seasoned combatant and isn't going to let a few words lead to anything crazy.
So yeah, after getting seated, I'll kind of look over and say, well, Gauntlet Major, Lady Pickett, what is it that you would like to speak to us about?
No. I would generally send a more formal request for your time. But your names came across my desk when you arrived and had the incident with the guards at the gates. Not often a group brings a prisoner to the city and then resists turning them in favor of their own interrogation.
Well, there was reasoning behind that. We were hoping to gather some information on these cultists and their, well, devilish companion, who's no longer with them.
Are you then not here exclusively because of the call to arms from House Silvershield?
Exclusively, I pray say no. It was the nearest city after our run-in with the cultists, but we did hear about the call to arms and were intending to check into it a bit more.
Well, I'm the military attaché and liaison for House Silvershield. This is a private and public venture.
And what's of this venture? Is there any information that we should know about it?
Well, first I need information on the lot of you. We're going to be asking some questions, doing our own interview process to make sure that you're suitable to take on a mission from the house.
Very well. I will do my best to answer anything about myself, but I can't say to speak for my comrades.
Well, I will need it from all of you.
Not quite sure we're going to have that much time to be able to accommodate you. Unfortunately, we're as busy as a stump-tailed cow in fly time right now. Might need to understand exactly why you have to question us, though. You're welcome.
I need to verify who you are and where you're from as best I can before we send you out onto the Sword Coast under our flag without knowing who we're sending.
Under your flag? Whoa, hold on now just a second. Ain't nobody agreeing to fly the banner of the Flaming Fist here. We just...
No, but you will the banner of Baldur's Gate.
Now that's a tune that I can accommodate.
I'm glad that I could sing a tune that makes your little toes tap. And she kind of looks down at the turtle feet.
They're not moving.
Yes, so this seems to be a very large-scale effort based on the fact that they'll be representing the gate itself.
As many as we can get, and unfortunately, not as many as we'd like.
Kind of nodding, say, well, as far as who we are, I can speak for myself. If you've heard
As you
of...
start speaking, she pulls out a series of pieces of parchment. And at the top, she's like, if you could please start with your name.
Archimedes Sparknotes.
She starts to scribble and says, your homeland?
I was born and raised in Waterdeep.
Do you worship a deity? And if so, who?
With that, I kind of think for a moment. Say, well, I've never been much of the religious type. I respect all deities in their own rights. I suppose if I had to align and pay homage to any, it would be Gond.
With that, she nods knowingly and finishes. And lastly, what is your reason for wanting to help hunt down the cult?
Well, I heard there was some powerful magic used at the Well of Dragons here recently, and I would like to see if any of that is still lingering. You see, powerful magic is a fascination of mine, one that I intend to study.
It nearly kills him half the time.
Details. That's why I had you, Flatfoot.
You see Lady Pickett kind of eyeballing the two of you back and forth, and continues scribbling. As you look over onto her handwriting, she's not writing down what you're saying verbatim. She's taking quick shorthand of what you're saying. With that, she draws a line at the bottom and sets that piece to the side, then folding out another piece of parchment in the similar fold and style to the first, and looks at who's next.
Sorry, I was changing something on stream. Flatfoot will look up at her and kind of say, well, I suppose if we're giving you all the details, and even though I'm not quite too fond of this idea, I guess that'll be me. The name's Flatfoot Greenshell. I preside from the snout of Omgar, a little outside of Cholt. Had a little bit of a run-in with your kin there over at Cholt as well. Not too fond of them, unfortunately for you.
And she looks with a little bit of disdain, what is the saying amongst your kind? That once in a while, every clutch has a bad egg?
Well, it does happen, I suppose. Perhaps if they hadn't interfered with the raid on Ahoy, things might not have gotten out of hand and my family wouldn't have been killed, but that's neither here nor there. As for your discussion of deities, well, yeah, I follow faithfully to Saloon, the Moon Maiden herself.
And with that, she responds, and may her light guide us all.
Certainly. What other questions did you have for me?
The last was just the desire. What is knowing your desire for wanting to hunt down the cult?
Well, seeing as how Cult of Dragons wanted to pretty much take over and run things across the Sword Coast and oppress the people of a nation they had no right to oppress, well, I felt it was my job to come here and ensure that I help all those that were in need. And, well, seeing as how we're no longer going to be needed for the Well of Dragons, I guess that's what brings me here to Baldur's Gate.
She continues to nod, and does the same mark at the end, a line underneath the bottom. sets the page aside and grabs the next. Points the tip of her quill back and forth between Belgate and Meekin.
We'll step forward.
Name?
Aiken Adamson.
Homeland?
Esperta, in the city-state of
Deity worship?
None, really.
With that, she kind of looks like side-eye at you, and said, and then the reason for wanting to hunt down the cult.
Well, originally it was duty. It was my job to. And then they took me as a slave and killed a bunch of my friends. So now, I just want them gone.
As you're writing that, she looks up. You were captured by the cult, like looking at your armor and weapon.
I was. There was a dragon involved. It's a long story. We can go over it sometime.
Well, your reason for vengeance is clear. Thank you. And she draws a line at the bottom of the page and sets it to the side. And turns to the dwarf. And you, Master Dwarf? Name?
You can call me Belgut.
Do you have a clan name?
Did?
Could I have that, please?
1 second. Had it saved and I deleted it. Backstory. 1 second.
So, well, what homeland do you hail from?
Clan name Ashfield. Also forgot to write that down as I messaged you.
You there? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot and I forgot to write it down in my notes where
No, you
where it came from.
just write down wanderer. And deity worship?
None.
Right? And reason for wanting to exterminate the cult?
To regain favor of my family so I can take the family name.
Dwarven tradition. And then she writes on a line, she says, well, I guess the last is, does your troop have a name?
I don't figure we've quite came up with a name for ourselves quite yet. Just met each other not too long ago.
So you don't travel as an alias?
As of now, no. We're still working on that. This band of misfits is recently formed, as my friend Flatfoot said.
Hey, Tammy. She kind of smiles at that and writes down at the bottom, in quotation marks, misfits. With that, she said, there's some details you'll need. Please, grab breakfast. I don't want to take up too much of your time. You can eat while I explain.
Before she could even finish the sentence, Flatfoot starts to stand up and kind of nods his head and immediately goes over to grab food.
As you start moving away, he's like, I don't think we have any seaweed, but I'm sure something could be arranged.
Yes, what did your people eat? I'm not quite sure exactly.
Things that have flavor.
Like flesh, or, turtle legs or something like that.
He just kind of nods. It is delicious. Does your tongue even work in that head of yours?
Oh, I could teach you a thing or two. Give me a moment. And he starts to walk off, ignoring her at this point.
That one doesn't seem to like me much.
Yes, based on his recent conversation with you, he was slighted by your order. I can imagine that isn't something that goes away very quickly.
We're a very large military organization, and sometimes, unfortunately, collateral damage occurs. You can't let it get in the way of the bigger picture.
Yes, bigger picture may be just a bit harder to see for those who are focused more on the finer details.
Said, of course, that's why I don't let it get to me.
Yes. With that, I'll kind of stand up and move over to where I can smell the food and get something basic, not too flamboyant.
There's a small buffet line where there's water, mugs, plates, bowls, and then a small spread.
Okay. Grab a few things from the spread as everybody else does and head back over to the table and sitting down kind of drinking a bit of the water and say, well, Lady Pickett, what details could you share with us?
Said, the meeting for this and the beginning of your expedition will begin in 2 days at midday. One of the four, Duke Eltar Silver. Sorry. There we go, sorry. Duke Eltar Silvershield. So wants to make as many things a formalities as possible now that the war is over, or likely before the war became a massacre. I digress. He simply wishes to make sending you all off on a mission to be as grand as he may, and wants to address you and the crowd such an address might draw. Be there a spell before midday. Find your places in the meeting ground, and please look presentable.
Look down at my red cloak and armor. That'll be quite easy for me.
She said, presentable.
Is there a common custom when it comes to attire here in Baldur's Gate?
A lack of armor for such an event would be considered courteous.
Let me explain a thing or two about how my people work. Unfortunately for you and the rest of the Flaming Fist, I'm unable to equip them. See, my stature is a little bit too big for any of your armor, as you say. You want me to come with armor? Well, you can pretty much count me out.
No, with no armor.
Oh, well. Can't rid the shield, then.
That would be correct. That's armor. You're not to fight. You're there to be subjects of the Duke.
Very well.
I'm sure here in this mostly peaceful city that shouldn't be much of a problem, I assume.
I thought he was saying for
there
some
will
reason
be
that we had to show
no
up in
trouble,
armor.
no harm to you while you're here in this city.
Very well, I can accommodate that then. Kind of glancing around at everybody else. Do we agree to the stipulation, everyone?
I'll show up in my robes. That's the best they're gonna get from me.
Yeah, I have no arguments against that, I guess.
I mean, I guess so.
We'll leave them somewhere safe. Your spiky adornments, Belagut, will be fine.
Oh, I know they'll be fine.
Well, very well then. There you have it, Lady Pickett. We agree to the terms of no armor showing up more suitable for the occasion.
And clean, please.
Of course, yes. That's something I've been wanting for quite some time, actually.
As she says that, she looks at Belgit, and then at Flatfoot. Exclusively, as she says, clean.
You have a problem with us turtle people, it seems.
I don't think it's just you, friend.
Don't you know we spend most of our days in the water and keep ourselves clean on the daily basis? You don't have to question my hygiene. Well, I do have to question your mental stability.
Just kind of leans forward and sniffs. Says, if you're always in water, then why do you smell so bad?
Perhaps it's because you don't understand the smell of nature, my friend.
Well, then I don't have any intent to. Please, a little soap, a long way. Kind of just motions her hand out to the table. You have been on the road for some time, clearly.
That just kind of nod, looking at the others, say, it's not a bad idea, honestly.
Should you need garments or any clothes, please, we'll set up a tab with Barmaster Cask and just let the purveyors know that they can come collect payment here.
Oh, very well. That's very gracious of you, Lady Pickett.
Indeed. You will be paying that back if anything, when we look into your background, proves untoward.
Well, that being the case, and on the topic of that, is there going to be talk of payment for our services at this gathering?
Should you pass this initial investigation, you will be assigned a handler. He will take care of all of the rest of the details pertinent to this.
Well, very well. I do hope that it is a competitive rate for our services.
Certainly sounding a little less like a bit of employment and a little more like slavery, if you understand what I mean.
Some of you have some background with the cult. You'll understand what slavers really look like. We're liberators. We're going to squash the rest of these cultists.
Yes,
underneath our thumb.
But only under the survey of your handler. Is that what you called it?
There are details that will be explained to you that I won't go into here. She kind of looks around. But you will be compensated and you will be taken care of as a valuable asset to the Duke.
Right, well, let's get on with it then, shall we? I don't want to spend all night talking about all of this shenanigans and want to get down to some actual enjoyment for the evening.
And she stands up and says, well, then I won't take up any more of your time. I'll get to work 2 days, midday. Be there early to meet your handler. And with that, she bids you adieu and takes off.
Like a bull in a china shop, that lady has no idea how to deal with people.
She was a bit coarse, but I do believe she was more militaristic, and I've come to expect that from that type.
Well, next time she better slow her roll before she considers speaking out of line like that to somebody. Never know what somebody's going to bring to the table, especially if it could possibly offend them.
Yes, but people of that ilk typically don't worry about offenses or not. They're there to get a job done.
Very well, so we're going through with this then. That's what I'm understanding of this whole situation.
Well, I personally need coin for my experiments, and right now I'm severely lacking in that facet. I don't know about the rest of you, but I would very much like to pursue this cult and see what other things I could possibly learn from them, and I know the rest of you have your own reasons for doing so. Unless you have any other suggestions.
I have absolutely no objections to it. I want to go after the cult and just get them out of here. They've done nothing but cause issues for me.
Well, if that is the case, then I see no reason not to at least follow this lead to its fruition at this meeting at the Silverhand Estate in 2 days. At the very least, we can figure out what's going to happen and who exactly will be handled by, and we can go from there. If it's something not to our liking, well, we could always refuse at that point.
My only qualm is with the Flaming Fist itself. If I could get away from doing anything with them, well, I would do so, but seeing as how we're going to be two peas in a pod, I guess I have no other choice at this point.
Now, there always is a choice, Sir Flatfoot, but as she did clarify, it was in service of Baldur's Gate, not directly with the Flaming Fists. They're more of a local operation, to my understanding, so going out abroad may not be much to their job descriptions, I suppose. I doubt we'll have to deal with too many of them.
They didn't have too many issues making their way to Cholt, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed, but maybe it'll be different this time, and if not, well, I would hate for you to be in an uncomfortable situation, so I'll read it as we go, see if it's agreeable to you or not.
Well, suppose that's going to be about as best as I'm going to get here. I'll follow your lead. Suppose you're going to be the mouthpiece of this, what did she call us, a troop?
Troop of misfits. I'm not too sure what she was implying there. I used it offhandedly. I didn't expect her to write it down. But either way, we are brothers in arms, if nothing else, with a similar goal. What's with wanting to handle this cult menace that still lingers on the Sword Coast?
Right. Alright, let's get to it then. Call it a night and try to figure out exactly how we're going to approach this in the morning. Well, 2 mornings from now, I suppose.
It is early morning, isn't it? Didn't we just wake up?
I was muted, yeah.
Yep, and
First
she said 2 days from now, yeah? First thing in the morning?
Correct.
Yep.
Well, we still have a day ahead of us. I suppose we could explore the city as we originally intended to, and maybe learn some information along the way.
You'll have to forgive me for my absence, but I'm gonna probably spend as much time in the temple as I can, seeing as how I'm not quite sure when the next time I'm gonna find a temple to saloon will be.
Oh, very well. I can't say anything negative about you pious types. I can understand it, to one degree at least. Do what you must, or you feel you must do, Flatfoot.
And with that, Flatfoot's going to continue munching on his greens that he's picked up from the bar there.
Well, if the other two of you have no religious duties, would you care to join me in a saunter around the city?
Sure, I'll accompany.
Sure, why not?
Very well. And I'll kind of start finishing up the passable meal I'm assuming came from this place for free.
It's fantastic. The sausage is like fresh and cooked beautifully. And it's bread that's not more than 2 days old. Like, for basically coming down to what you would imagine like a continental breakfast, it's fire.
I will say I expected less, and I'm, well, delightfully surprised by this food that was provided. May have to stay here a bit long, call this home for the time being.
And if any of you got water, the water is incredible. Like, it's super clear, it's crisp, it's cold. Like, it's almost like spring water.
Nice.
Alright, well, finish up eating and figure we go walk around the city a little bit.
Yeah, Flatfoot
Cool.
will sample. You said they had like sausage and stuff like that. Was like
Yeah,
their
sausage is a big one. There's
Yeah.
other like vegetables and stuff, but there's a pile of it, and it's delicious.
Seeing as how turtles are kind of like omnivores here, for the most part, he's like eating, the vegetable kind of stuff, and then like before he gets ready to head off and like head back up to bed or go do whatever, he's gonna walk over and grab some of the talked up sausage and get a bit of a taste of it.
It's not
Yeah.
that bad, Flatfoot.
No, by the taste of it, I'd say it's quite the bee's knees, as they would say.
Indeed. Wasn't aware that bees had knees. Well, if we're all done eating, shall we set out into the city?
Lead the way.
Yeah, I think I'm about ready at this point. I'm gonna actually, I think so. Today and tomorrow, right?
It'll be
So
48 plus hours
from
so
today.
60 hours.
Okay.
Yes.
So for today,
So it's 2 full days and like 12 hours.
right? So for today, Flatfoot's gonna hang out with the group, and then tomorrow he's gonna go visit the temple to Salon.
Okay, cool. So, that's the other one. To be clear, she was only asking you to like disarm during the ceremony,
Okay.
like not now.
Gotcha. Yep.
So as you make your way out on the streets, it's all cobblestone, but very large stones, like sizably larger. Part of the things that you remember again with the sewer and the aqueduct system that's beneath the streets. All these streets over the past 150 years have been systematically pulled up and replaced. So everything here has all been carved to size to fit specs, designed for basically a giant cistern system under the city. Everything feels super squat and stable, but there's a pervading mist and like moisture on everything. So there's a constant smell of kind of mold and mildew in the air. It's ever present, but it's not overpowering. As you make your way out from the upper city while walking, down the hill a little bit, you get back to one of the more scenic vistas, the oversight. It's a view that allows you to see almost all of the sprawling crescent shape that is Baldur's Gate. And here we'll just kind of, as I imagine you're viewing, I'll kind of give you a rundown. Again, we kind of touch based on religions. You see along the streets posts with lights on them that aren't lit now, but all on top, all of these posts is the coat of arms, which is the same that you saw on the post outside the city, the mile marker. It's a red backdrop with a single ship with raised sails floating across the still blue water in front of a clear blue sky. So a red kind of background to that setting. It represents the role as a trading hub and the sea. The government is run by 4 dukes. Duke Antar Silvershield to be one of them, but there are 3 others.
Let's see which ones he goes with.
There's a series of trading places. The Gray Harbor, which is in the lower city, which you can see now, almost looks like a hybrid dock/market. It dominates almost the entirety of the coast, where goods are immediately dropped off and put for sale without having to move anywhere else in the city. All of you, any of you that spent any amount of time on the Sword Coast, understand that this is one of the busiest ports in all of the Sword Coast. And the other one for trade. The Baldur's Gate is the only city in the Sword Coast that has its own currency. not they will accept gold, but there are merchants who will only take silver trade bars, which are specific to Baldur's Gate.
What's the exchange on those?
1 to 5. So 1 trade bar for 5 gold
For
pieces.
5 gold? Okay.
These will give you access to better prices, and the only way to really buy in bulk in the city is by using the trade bars.
Okay. Right here.
Gotcha. Do we see any sites that kind of stand out, or anything we feel like we could go investigate or start walking around to?
Yeah, the gate is the Gray Harbor is the thing that's going to draw your attention immediately. There is a strong militia and military presence. As you're just standing here, you're watching guards and more well-armed guards, more than just city watch, milling about. But the upper city, the really only point of interest that's not the giant manors, would be the religious quarter. You can see even from this distance some very shiny pair of heads and towers that would only be done in religious edifice.
Well, based off what Flatfoot intends to do tomorrow, shall we explore the lower city, maybe down in the docks there for today, and see if we can figure anything out there, and then tomorrow maybe mill around the upper city near the religious district?
Well, I don't exactly have anything in particular I'm planning on doing other than spending some time in the temple, so please lead the way, my friend. I will gladly accommodate you.
Look at the other two.
Wherever you want to go.
Very well then. We'll start heading down towards that dock you described.
Yeah, it's called the Gray Harbor. That's the name of the market. As you make your way down towards the lower city, as you enter through the lower wall, immediately to your right, there's a very large business-like building. It looks kind of like a multi-story office complex, and there's a sign out front that says Baldur's Mouth. This is an official place of business for public declarations and other news. It's also the newspaper and the dock headquarters. Right past that, through a series of gates, lays the entrance to the Gray Harbor. The gates are drawn open and secured along 2 walls, but the length, the breadth for this gate could easily fit 4 draft carts wide.
Big son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Walking past the Baldur's Mouth, is there anybody any newspapers sitting about, or
Yeah,
selling them?
Yes, there's a stack.
Does it look like people are just grabbing them, or do they have to buy them?
There's a small box that's associated next to the stack of papers.
Like a coin box?
Coin box, yeah, sorry. I thought it was implied because I was envisioning it. I didn't exactly say those words.
It's okay.
Looking inside the box, is it filled with copper or silver or platinum pieces?
It's early morning and foggy. You're not really getting a good angle on the light, so it's tough to tell what kind of coins are in there.
Flick 2 electrum pieces in and kind of shrug and pick up a paper.
That's perfect.
Fucking
Gonna get rid of these real quick. I have 4 of them, down to 2.
There we go. As you open it up, the big spread, it dominates the front page. So the queen is dead. At the bottom, the tagline is, "The cult has been thwarted. All rejoice."
Of course, I'm reminded of my failure with this. Kind of start just getting past that story. I don't even want to read it.
There is nothing else in this paper. It is literally every inch is survivor stories and where were you and projections on how business is going to improve. Everything revolving around the fall of the cult.
Well, old news, I suppose, if nothing else. Just talking about the fall of Tiamat and such, and the success of the heroes there. Yes, riveting, really. No mention of the magic, really. Not a very reputable news source, I suppose.
Well, does it talk about the heroes in there? Maybe they could tell you about the magic someday.
I mean,
I don't know. You kind of hand it off to Aiken. I don't know. You read it.
I mean, it
Just
is
annoyed.
quite good news considering that this band of heroes led a bunch of militaristic-minded individuals to the Well of Dragons and took down Tiamat, stopping her in her tracks. That's quite the achievement.
Yes, I suppose so. Great heroes, yada yada, yes, whatever.
I'm going to kind of roll up the paper and smack my hand with it and then shove it in my backpack. Oh, we'll look at it later.
Well, yes, alright, to the Grey Harbor then.
Just to give you an idea, you're basically taking like the equivalent of like a Wall Street Journal. Like it's very much like a business magazine.
I rolled it up.
Cool.
Take
Just
it
you're aware.
away.
It's not, you're going to be reading the stock market. You know what I mean?
Something to read on the privy later.
Buy
Hey, it's definitely that.
buy pork products now.
Right? It's now the John Dothan river tax increase. Now it's going to affect
In character from the bathroom.
Right.
In character from the bathroom. Who's Microsoft?
Dragon prices, all parts of dragons plummeting with the surge of all dragons being slain and brought back here.
The Eldritch stock is plummeting. Took a huge hit.
That's not good. Very well. Maybe I'll be able to buy some resources on the cheap. Alright, I'll walk towards these massive gates and move into the Grey Harbor.
So, I mean, stretched out before you is a monstrosity. It is not like where you saw the rest of the city was built with order. Even the lower city, which is kind of chaotic, is still built with a sense of order and logistics in mind. This is not. It is a far cry. It is, favela style, things stacked on top of things. Anywhere space can fit that can still allow for traffic to continue moving back and forth and goods to be exchanged. That's all the space that you have. There are stalls for everything.
It's literally like
you can
building our structure on top of structure on top of structure.
Right.
Gotcha.
The common theme here is for food and or spice merchants to build restaurants and bars and whatnot above, like on top of their actual shack. So you'll see as you go through stairwells and what will look to be not much more than leaning ladders going up to makeshift huts above some stands with all manner of delicious smells coming out of them.
Well, kind of smelling everything. So, I did just eat breakfast, but some of that does smell delightful, rather. Looking around, like, am I seeing, like, all manners of shops and such? Is it all, like, sea trade based?
No, there's, the first thing as you do, when you come in as you enter is all foodstuffs. As you move farther back, the non-perishable wares are farther towards the end. So as you start moving up, there's everything from furniture to arms to armor. Anything and everything that you can think of is being represented in some way. Up and down the Sword Coast, anyway.
Any fresh fish or seafood?
No, they definitely, being on the water and everything, hate seafood.
Totally
Don't hate me.
disappointed, and I'm so not coming to the city ever
No,
again.
They are masters of seafood.
Mm-hmm.
There's anything you can. This is a major hub for like marine delicacies as well.
Ooh. Think I very well might find me a little something to snack on here in a bit.
Yes, very well. Kind of looking around. Kind of traveling for a few days, and I don't have a whole lot except for one change of clothes. I'm looking for any kind of decent-looking shops that are selling clothing.
You find a couple. So one of the storefronts you see has got large spools of fabric for display. A second one has smaller but more brightly colored. Rather than buying in bulk, more of a variety. And then the third shop is actually clothes.
Going for the practical. I'm gonna stop at the third one.
I'm pretty certain nothing they have there is going to fit me. I'm going to go to the first one and see if maybe they can whip something up for me.
Sorry. That's so good.
Whip out all the stuff. They may have your size here, Belgit. You could use some more subtle clothing, perhaps?
They just have to cut it in half, that's all.
Thinking that was a short joke.
What?
So
No,
you're gonna go.
I'm not going to give you no short joke. Come on now.
Sorry.
I'm a little better than that.
That
A little better than that.
that definitely felt like a short joke.
He's getting good.
I'm sneaking them in any way I can, alright?
That's fantastic. As you would, God, I'm phlegmy. As you approach the third stall, the one with clothes in it, there's a small bench right up front, as you would, as just a countertop. And as you approach it, you hear a huff and a puff, and a little scrabble, and a small gnome climbs up and stands in front of you. He says, customers.
Yes, customers, indeed. Kind of bowing my head to the gnome. Master Gnome, I am Archimedes. I'm in search of some finer clothes than what I'm currently wearing.
And he says, oh, Master Gnome. Well, then I'm Master Malcolm Sprite. He's like, I would love that to take your sizes. And he starts grabbing, little out of his pockets, what seem to be small pockets, very long bits of string and yarn that are different colors. He's furiously pulling them out of his pockets.
Right.
Yes. Kind of just nodding and waiting.
I'll slap my head and call me silly. I ain't never seen a thing like that in my entire life.
With that, he stops. He's like, okay, well, come here, and ushers you closer to him. So now, what are we talking about here? He just starts making adjustments with his hands, like bringing tape, even though you're not close. He's like kind of doing it in the air in front of you. What would you like? Are you looking for just a shirt, pants, something formal, something relaxed?
Something formal, preferably, if that is in the assortment that I see around me.
He comes up, he grabs a small pencil and starts putting it between his teeth, and starts writing as he comes up to measure you right on the top of the counter. Like, he's not using paper, he's just writing it down. And starts measuring. He's like, well, I own the whole row, so you can pick out any color, any style, anything you'd like, and I can put it together for you.
Then I'll kind of nod and say, well, I'm accustomed to comfortable clothing, robes, things of that nature, and I'm partial to red.
Not too restrictive.
Yes.
He said he starts looking. He grabs your hands and pulls them out. With that, like almost again out of nowhere, out of his pocket, pulls in one of those little monocle magnifiers and looks down at your hands. He's like, "Oh, a practicer of the arcane arts. You got the fingers for it."
Indeed,
yes,
I
soft
am.
and dainty.
I do not believe that's the case. Kind of looking over my hands and comparing them to Flatfoot's. Well, compared to your monstrosities, I suppose.
He looks over at Flatfoot and kind of jaw drops. He's like, "You will require several measurements, I think." He said, but it looks back down. You can tell the hands, the corners. It's phosphorus. It sticks. You can't have that on your fingers when you're making clothes.
My friends,
Makes it smell.
My friends, I believe he just made a joke about the size of my shell, and I'll be quite honest with you, I'm not quite too comfortable with it. I have an axe to grind with this one if he keeps it up.
No, I think he had a point, Flatfoot. He will require several measurements for you.
Yes, Master Turtle, it's only... I want to make sure whatever you wear of mine is flattering.
Very well, then I won't let my feathers get ruffled with this. I'll assume you know what's best. I want something that looks presentable and nice and, of course, accommodates my deity.
I wasn't voted the third best tailor in Baldur's Gate for nothing.
The third best? Well, I'd hate to see who's below you.
Well, to be fair, there wasn't a vote, and there's only 2 more than me.
Ah,
right.
Well, a ringing endorsement if I've ever heard one.
Jesus Christ.
Kind of just eyeing him up, say, well, do you have anything that fits my specifications?
Oh, I can have it done this afternoon.
I'll kind of nod. Well, very well. What would be the going rate for your services, Master Sprite?
Well, if it's full custom and you just want the shirt and trousers, that'll be 1 gold piece. If you want an overcoat or a hat or some fancy shoes to go along with it, maybe some socks, we can really dress it up and go as crazy as you want.
What if we're just in need of a tunic, something nice and presentable?
You see him kind of visibly deflate. He's like, well, I've got plenty of stuff like that in stock. And he just kind of reaches back. And as he does, you now notice the back wall that's like the behind is actually like a sliding case. So as he moves it to the side, it alternates left to right, but there's racks and racks. He's like, just call out when you see something. You know, as he moves stuff, it's just
right,
you know, different kind of simple tunics.
Master
you know,
Dwarf,
pants.
I quite appreciate the suggestions here you have on the wall, but from what I'm seeing here, ain't nothing gonna quite fit an individual the size of myself.
Oh no, that'd be easy. You just get one of the big pieces over there for like armor, for shields and whatnot, and you just hem it around for the back. You put it to the front. You're not that. Now that I see you closer, it's not that much of a size difference.
All right, well, we'll try to see what's best here, and immediately he's gonna walk to the back and start sorting through, see if he finds something that kind of tickles his fancy, as it were.
He's gonna kind of, as he writes down, he puts the pencil like back behind his ear and looks at you, Havoc. He's like, okay, well, I've got your measurements. If you want something, you can pick out whatever colors or designs you'd like. And I can get the measurements for these other 2 gentlemen.
Okay, I kind of nod and say, well, Aiken, Belgut, he's speaking to you now.
Alright, I'll step up.
He's like, oh, come around, and he points around to the side. He's like, there's a stool for both of us to climb up on. Us. I couldn't even say it without laughing. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, he'll get you taken care of in short measure.
He said, come around. You got to come up here. Us littles got to come up to the bigs, not the other way around.
Yes, do climb onto the stool here, Belguts.
Please, come up
the
to my
stool
level.
up onto the counter, in full view of the market, just to paint the picture.
Come up to my level.
This is the best day. Yes, Belgut. Climb right up there. Yes, very good.
I hate every single one of you. Begrudgingly
Climbing up there.
on the stupid counter.
I love it.
Good. He starts measuring you. He's like, you look extraordinarily wide as he starts going around, like your shoulders.
Oh, extraordinarily wide. I don't recall him saying something like that to me when he was looking at me.
Well, you're proportional for a turtle. This
Oh
one.
my god.
So only you make fun of me because I'm short. Now calling me
Short and fat. Short and fat.
I wouldn't say you're fat, Belgit. I'd say robust is a good way to describe you.
Rotund. Rotund's a fantastic word.
Yes.
With that, as he's making the measurements, Malcolm just looks up. He's like, well, friends like these, you don't need enemies, do you? And just goes back to scrabbling down.
Are you using shorthand? I'm sure it's quite accommodating for this individual.
We just call it hand, us littles. Isn't that right? And he elbows Belgit.
What he said, I keep laughing.
With that, he's like, all right, I'm all done,
shit.
and slaps you on the back. He's like, well, thanks, buddy. He's like, I don't have to say little buddy because we're the same size.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm done. I'm done for this. I can't. I can't.
He's a grumble all your way off the counter. And then Aiken slaps. Yeah, come on, let's go.
I'll step up, just shaking my head. I
So
don't see
good.
why it's necessary that I need other clothes.
Oh, you heard the lady.
This is a
Yes,
guard's
I-
uniform. What could be more formal than a guard's uniform?
A clean guard's uniform, or anything that doesn't now resemble dish rags.
He
And he
does
kind
have
of
a
stops and he
point,
says that. He's like, well, I don't mean to go after your taste, but these threads have clearly seen better days. I could make a replica of this. I could take this and make it out of new material and make it look brand new.
All right, that's fine, but I'll need something else to wear until then.
Like, right. And just grabs. He's like, how about simple spun tunic and how do you feel about burlap?
Well, it's itchy.
All right, I've got. Unfortunately, the only thing it just does, I haven't that of leather.
No, we're not gonna do leather either. You know what? Just make me something new.
I'll try and do my best from memory.
Something in between.
I love this NPC so much. Here, wear a sack. All right, fine. Some dominatrix leather. Here, have that instead.
Wear a bag,
I read
please.
just like leather breeches at first, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to correct that. It's not leather pants. It's like, so wait, I get to wear a potato sack or leggings. Those are my options. Like
I get-
hot pants. Okay.
I get the thinnest possible material, or I get this heavy shit that I'm gonna fucking sweat in. Alright, got it. Yes, it's one or the other.
I will say the leather is not very complimentary on the nethers. It can come from experience.
Do you just put leather in between your pants?
No, he used to wear his boom suit naked.
I learned that an extra layer was quite useful.
Yeah, right. He kept catching his clothes on fire.
That must have
All right, we're just gonna do it naked then. I'm not gonna stop the. That's gonna stop the fiery experiment. It's gonna stop wearing pants. Solve.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
So yeah, he takes your measurements and starts just going back, grabbing fabric. He's like, is there anything that you want?
Talk.
Yeah, I was asking if any of you guys wanted like specific fabric, anything custom.
I pulled out a couple sheets of this, not velvet, but kind of soft to the touch red, and then gold as well for filigree.
Like some
Kind of
velour.
Yes. It needs to be fancy. I'm used to wearing more finer things than this. This is more my practical outfit.
For Flatfoot, he wears just its basic kind of cotton garb, like silver and blue.
Yeah.
He's looking for something that has a little more of an ornate feel to it. Something a bit decorative almost.
Yeah.
You know,
hold up to religious.
Yeah.
Religious standards.
Yeah, exactly. It holds up to religious standards, but at the same time is going to look appropriate in kind of the setting we're going into.
All right, should I give you a brain and start scribbling down? Okay, saloon. All right. Yeah, yes. And he reaches back to a couple smaller bolts. And he pulls out one that's it looks white. And when he runs his hand up across it, the other direction, it turns silver.
Ooh, nice.
Chrome silver. And he's I could put a design in. And he moves his hand kind of in a similar of a crescent moon and then sew it down so it looks just like that.
Yes. I feel that's exactly what I'm looking for here. Let's go with that and make it very ornate. Something that, I don't know, as the ladies say, it kind of flows a little bit.
With a smile, it's I'll do my best. He starts making notes. How about, and he looks down. How about you, Brother Little?
I want something. I'm not restricting. Not too flashy, but not common folk clothing.
He's so something with a collar, but not too many buttons.
Right, and I swear to God, if you put ruffles on it.
100%.
Was that ruffles or no ruffles?
Zero, not a single.
I think he said ruffles.
I swear to
him
God.
kind of look and go down with the eraser on the ruffles part and erase it from the top of the counter.
I swear to God, if we don't get a Seinfeld puffy shirt thing for him, I'm quitting this campaign. Done. He has to have the puffy shirt.
Rip Forge, not wearing it.
Sorry for this game. Sorry, guys.
I mean, he'll wear it if it's me.
Then he looks.
He's not going to be happy.
For you, Aiken?
I would something plain, simple. Doesn't need to stand out too much. Needs to be durable. We're going into a room with politicians. There could be a fight at any moment.
All right, you got to be able to handle your sweat. I see.
But use your imagination. With the door, no ruffles for me. You could do it to his.
So ruffles are back on. He starts. They said, "Yeah, I will. I'll get to work on these right away. Come back before the last toll of business. It should be ready."
Common knowledge. Last toll of business is what time?
Right before dusk.
So 6 or 7 bells in the evening.
It's separate. It's a business clock.
Oh, okay.
So there aren't. So no bells toll the hour here in Baldur's Gate. They only toll business hours. So they toll the opening of the market. They toll what is considered a lunch break for restocking, and they toll for close of business.
Cool. Okay, got it.
And it's a cacophony. Don't think of it like one singular. It's just everybody and all the merchants to clang their bells. It's a chorus of noise.
So we're gonna hear it no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's right before what's widely considered dinner. A couple hours. It'd be nightfall in the winter.
Right. Gotcha. Cool. All right. can we take a short break here?
Yeah, for sure.
And then come back. I know you're only here until 10, so take a 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, we got some time. I think we're going to do more RP, so we can take plenty. We can go later. You can go until you guys are ready to call it.
Whatever's best for you. I know you had to go, so a little earlier tonight. So yeah, well, let's do the 5-minute break here then, and when we get back, we'll continue whatever else is going to take
shopping.
Place. More shopping. All right, guys. So with that, we're going to take a short 5-minute break. Now that Flatfoot has some fancy little garb that he's going to be able to wear. Even called it flowy because that's appropriate for Flatfoot. Yeah, we're going to take our 5-minute break. As we do, we're going to, I need to make sure this is set up here. I'm pretty sure it is, but we're going to jump in and play our With Advantage video. If you haven't seen it, pay attention. It's very important. It's what we are doing November 4th through the 8th from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. We hope you're going to be there for it. Stick around, take a look at it. Come and hang out with us. Stick around for the rest of this session tonight, and yeah, that's pretty much everything. Let's jump into the way here and get things started, so we can come back and have some more fun with this game. So don't go anywhere. All right, whenever you're ready.
So yeah, we've got clothes associated, measurements and styles picked out. With that, Malcolm Sprite looks at, there'll just be one matter of payment. I'll require a retainer, and then the payment in full when you come pick up your garments.
Yes, of course. What does the total look like for what we've requested from you?
We be paying in gold or trade bars?
Gold for now.
Gold, let's see, on one dwarf. I actually get a discount on that because I don't need as much fabric.
And then quite the opposite when you get to the turtle.
Yeah, it's going to pretty much balance out. I was just getting to that. It'll bring the total to 17 gold pieces with rush delivery.
17.
Oh, very well. How much of a retainer will you require for that?
10%, but we generally round up, so 2 gold pieces for the retainer. 15 on delivery.
I'll slide 2 gold pieces over.
Excellent. Good mannequin.
He picks it up and kind of looks, grabs one of them and takes a quick bite. He's like, yeah, kind of shrugs. Can't be too careful. And tucks into his pocket. He said, perfect. I'll get right on it.
Can't be too careful. Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much, Master Dwarf. Very much appreciate it. Look.
He's a gnome.
Gnome? Oh, I thought he was a dwarf. Oh, right.
I thought you said dwarf earlier.
Yeah, I thought for some reason he was a dwarf. I don't know why, but Master Gnome, thank you so much for your kind attention here. And then kind of look to the others. Shall we continue on and look around the rest of the city here?
Yes, very well. Once again, thank you, Master Sprite. And I'll walk out of the shop.
He starts nodding and waving at you as he picks up all the manner of things he pulls out of his pockets and starts stuffing them back.
Very well. And we're going to continue on and keep taking a look around the rest of the city.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Anything else you were looking for in particular? Like I said, it's a huge bustling metropolitan area. The lower city, there's only a couple other places of note. There's the counting house, which is the de facto bank that exchanges all currencies, into the Baldur's Gate currency. There's a widely renowned magical shop called Sorceress Sundries. That's near the East Gate on the other side. And then the two temples, there's the Shrine of Suffering, which is the House of Ilmater, and the Water Queen's house, which is the Temple of Umberlee.
I don't really have anything special, but I would like to find at some point today, or this evening probably, find something that has some nice, like, really high quality seafood delicacies to take the entire party to.
So the other, as you look out into the water, there's a stone pier that runs out that kind of turns into a jetty to separate everything, and there is a tower on that. That's the Sea Tower of Baldur. It's combination defensive tower and lighthouse, but beneath it at the base of this is a famous bathhouse called the House of Hissing Stones. There, they sell high-end food. It's like a spa.
Nice. Yeah. As the day progresses, we'll end up there. But, you know, in the between time, we'll fill it with whatever everybody else wants to do.
I really have nothing to seek out currently. I have a few things I'd like to pick up, but as I said before, I need to get some coin back in my pocket beforehand. So I really have nothing else to search out for, just kind of walk out. I'm broke as fuck.
Yeah, this is just the gold I made off with from the slave ship. Wasn't that much.
I was recently a slave, also broke.
Yeah.
I have nothing
That's why like getting recruited by the Flaming Fist is like super easy for us because we're all broke as fuck. We need money.
Yeah, like,
Yep.
and coming in, like, we're gonna look at this and be like, all right, so you're wanting us to attend this meeting and we have no money. Guess what? We're trying to get some armor or some clothing that's gonna be fitting for this. You might have to pay for it. So I think that might be where this is
like
going.
plate mail? Let's get plate mail.
We're gonna get plate mail. Everybody gets plate mail. No, but at least the clothing.
They have nice clothes at least.
Do you think they would be
back for that.
abject to us giving an expense report?
I mean, I'm turning one in no matter what. How do you think I'm going to be able to pay for you guys having a fancy dinner tonight?
I mean, I could probably pay for my own dinner and the clothes that, you know, are mine. But tomorrow, I'll need some dinner.
Well, if we're able to secure our clothing, at least we'll have everything we need for this meeting with the Silverhand estate. Beyond that, I figure we could just walk around, see if we see any places of note, remember for the future, and probably get some dinner and head back to the Purple Worm Inn.
Yeah, if there's nothing else, we'll just hang out, wander around the city, kind of take in the sights and stuff, and then, yeah, head over and get us some food.
So there's not really, like I said, this is the only place that's a place of the like a whatchamacallit, tourist place would be the Hall of Wonders. Gond is the major deity here, and the Hall of Wonders is a museum displaying the relics of Gond. So it's an incredible place. Like the Hall of Wonders is, I mean, as magnificent as it sounds.
It's wondrous, you might say.
Yeah.
Well, if that's nearby, we might as well stop by for a moment, at least see what this place has that gives it such a fanciful name. They do seem to worship Torm there, so why not? They must know something about gadgets and magic and things of that nature.
Pray tell, didn't you say you were a follower of Gond if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one, yes. Gond is a deity of knowledge and, well, taking risks when it comes to obtaining that knowledge. It fits my own philosophy with life quite well.
Well, then we very well should pay a little bit of attention to it and give you a little time, a little closer to your god. Perhaps it'll calm you down a little bit. You've been a little reckless as of late.
Only slightly, I'm sure. There's no reward without risk, after all.
Right.
Bless your heart. Yeah, we're gonna go over and go over to this museum and start taking a look and see what's in there. Flatfoot, quite interested in the works of another deity, as he's pretty much just grown up all his life around Saloon, so something new to him.
Yeah, so as you make your way back towards the upper city, you make your way towards this building, which, I mean, stands out amongst all the rest. While most of what you see in Baldur's Gate is short and squat, economical, it's designed for business, this building is in stark contrast. Instead of worked gray stone, this is made out of pure white marble. And on the front, as you make your way up, two massive doors bear the holy symbol of Gond, which is a large, many-toothed cog, but the cog on the door is slowly ticking without anything touching it.
That's so cool. That's freaking awesome.
That's quite interesting.
That's quite the thing there. That's your god did that then.
I would assume so, that or one of the acolytes here in this temple. It is a holy place in its own right, I suppose.
Well,
Is the place like open, or is it?
As you see, as you get closer to the door, flanking the door on either side and like the steps that go up it are a series of stalls, like vendor stalls leading right up to the doors.
I kind of walk in between the stalls and such, and kind of glance at their wares, see what they're selling.
You see that once you, again, upon further inspection, all of the stalls are connected. So it's all one large, like, makeshift stall that goes up the stairs. And on the table was just random assortments of different trinkets and gadgets. Two whole entire stalls just for locks. Ones with strong boxes with different hidden compartments, different locking combinations, different little trinkets that are literally like candles or incense burners, I was thinking of, but are in shapes of multiple different things meant for different oils and different things to burn for scents. Just gadgets and gizmos for what look to be everyday life, like household goods. And at the top, there is a human dressed in all white with the same cog emblazoned on the tunic.
Okay.
butter my butt and call me a biscuit. I ain't never seen anything like this before in my entire life.
Yes, there was a place similar to this in Waterdeep, but it wasn't quite this grand, if I recall correctly. Quite interesting, all of these, kind of motioning at some of the things like the locks and such, these, dilly-dallies for common life. I'm sure they're interesting in their own right, not extremely useful for my purposes, I'm sure, though.
What exactly does that doodad do? And he just kind of points off at some random object off to the left of where they're at.
What is that thing?
What
Yes,
is that?
that.
That's a thing.
Yeah. So the Gondaran, I had to look that up. that's the worshiper of Gond, beckons and hails to you as he sees you kind of perusing the wares.
Can I walk up and say, greetings, follower of Gond. This is quite an interesting place you have here.
He nods and smiles. He's like, I'm Gondara Liz. I'm in charge of our market here. Not only does Gond bless us in bounty with trade, but also with invention and ideas, hence the Hall of Wonder. And, he reaches into a small pouch and pulls out an actual ordering form. Said, if you should want any of these, we are now delivering. If you can order anything that you'd like through this pamphlet and drop it off, and we can bring it to you. Make sure to stop by. The stock is constantly rotating.
Gondara Liz, is that correct?
Correct.
What is that thingamajig over there? Points to the same thing you was pointing at earlier.
He's like, oh, the pump?
Yeah, what is that? What does that thing do?
It's reversed from a bellows that a blacksmith would use, but repurposed to go in a well. So with very little manual effort, and you see go over and kind of mimic the pumping motion, you could pump water right out of the well. So, exactly as much as you need.
So instead of trying to push something out, you're going to pull it in. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. Change the pressure in the well from positive to negative, and the water comes out.
That's quite the interesting little invention there. Could be quite useful, I suppose, but... And this is your god's doing, is that correct?
All of our prophets have been blessed with visions, showing what we can do if we simply apply ourselves.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. It's have a feeling that perhaps Mistra maybe invited herself in a little bit and kind of helped to make all of this happen, maybe? Seems a little odd,
we try not to use any arcane magic. This is meant for Gond to flow through us.
Wait, no, you're telling me this isn't arcane magic? That seems a little questionable, my friend.
As are all true inventions.
Kind of looking around and hearing that, I'm like, no magic at all then.
Not in these items, no.
Oh, does that mean there are some with the arcane blessing upon them?
Oh, not in the hall, no.
No. Well, that's disappointing.
You sound disappointed there.
Well, I'd heard that this was a place of knowledge and such, and knowledge goes hand in hand with wizardry. I had just assumed that it would be here as well.
Perhaps it's a little more of the mechanical and not quite the arcane.
Yeah, everything on these tables feels very kind of like steampunky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of glancing around. Well, the mechanical ingenuity is not to be discredited, of course. I've used it in my experiments as well, when arcane wasn't needed to accomplish the job, but well, I just expected a bit more is all.
God teaches us in things like the time of troubles, when magic doesn't always abide by its rules, that one must be self-sufficient.
That kind of shrug. Say, well, magic has a way of working when it wants to and not when it does not. The weave is perilous as it is fascinating.
Perhaps you should have considered following Mistra instead of Gond. Maybe that's a little more to your liking.
Mistra has...
I mean, she's the mother of all magic, after all. You might consider her abilities to be to your liking.
Well, Mistra has her place. I've studied her teachings as well and what she has done to the realm and maintaining the weave and things of that nature, but she does also limit it quite a bit. It's made some of my more interesting studies more difficult.
Yes, well, limiting things isn't quite the bad proposition as you're making it out to be. I have a feeling that you're trying to maybe overextend your bounds a little bit.
I would never. I quite know my bounds most of the time, but as I said before,
when was the last time
knowledge
you caught
is
yourself
not without
on
sacrifice.
fire?
It's been at least a 10-day.
How long have we been traveling?
About 10 day. Give or take. I haven't burnt myself recently.
Recently?
I haven't done it recent. Okay, leave me alone.
Also,
I didn't even think about it. That's great. I'm making strides.
Progression. Leave me alone.
See. Yes, well, this is all very interesting and fantastic work, but unfortunately not up to my particular talents. Unfortunately, nothing that I think I can learn here.
And Liz kind of pipes up and said, well, for a small fee, it's for 4 silver pieces, we can have an acolyte of Gond give you a tour of the hall, if you'd like. Surely that's why you came all this way.
What was their name? I'm sorry.
Liz.
Liz.
His name is
right.
Liz.
His Liz. He'll look to Liz and say, I'll. To be quite honest with you, I'm as lost as last year's Easter egg, but I want to take or partake in this little travel through your museum. It sounds like quite the interesting thing, and I could learn quite a bit from it. Kind of look back to the others. Are you interested in joining me here?
Oh, I suppose it couldn't be a wasted effort. We do have time to kill before our clothes are ready, after all.
I suppose.
Belgit, are you in? You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, he's coming over.
Once more unmuted? Sure.
All right, so with that ping for the 4 of us, how much?
16 silver
16
pieces.
silver. All right, so I will give the... yeah, I'll go ahead and pay for it. I'll give 1 gold and 5 silver.
Awesome. When Liz takes it, nods, and moves over and puts his hand up against the cog, and as he does, the cog stops shifting and the door opens.
Ooh.
As he goes
Fancy.
in, Acolyte Marcus will be with you shortly. And he just kind of nods and steps back.
Oh, Liz, you're
door
not going to
on a
be
stranger.
joining us then.
Oh no, I'm going to man the stands.
Oh, very well. I understand. It's quite all right. Hopefully the next individual is quite as accommodating as you have been.
Oh, Acolyte, all of the Acolytes are more than happy to showcase everything that God has done.
Very well. We appreciate your time. Go ahead and send the acolyte our way.
He's ushering you in. Basically, he's going to close the door behind you, and then there's an antechamber where... so yeah, as you go back in, you hear the kind of metallic clink of the cog shifting again. Now you can hear it on this side of the door, imagining the door is shut behind you. Mm-hmm. In a few moments, you see in the room is a treasure trove of all the little items that you saw outside. Say you saw 15 locks outside on the table, there's 1,000 locks, like one of every lock that has ever been created, categorized. Cool. The same thing for strong boxes, safes, vaults. I mean, this giant expansive room on all 4 walls, all the way around, it's stocked, chock full of mundane-ish items, but still, inventions. And in the center of the room are a series of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like exhibits that look to rotate. and there are some bizarre-looking things in these glass boxes. Each one of them has a placard out in front of it explaining what it is.
Well, I never seen anything quite like this. This is outlandish.
The acolyte comes up and just kind of ushers you around. He's more there for like questions and security, but this is still an active temple, so he's not going to speak too much. He's just going to kind of walk you around and point to the placards.
Looking down the placards, any stand out?
Yeah, so this is a rundown of what's in the room. There's a highly precise and very large water clock. It's one item called the fan chair, which is a fan underneath like a wicker bottom, and as you rock, that uses the momentum back and forth to make the fan blow on your fan.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I'm sorry. That's fucking amazing.
Right. There's the same pump that you saw outside, but this one has a mechanism attached to a steam tower that's making it move, so the steam power would be operating the pump on a much larger scale. There is a gold filigreed astrolabe that's all carved from coral, depicting the movements of Abertoral in the sky. There is, in the back of the room, a waterfall that fills a bucket that lifts a crane. So the water, as it fills up, pours over, lifts the crane up and down. And it's called the steam dragon, to use for dockside, for mechanical movement of boxes. Next to that is a steam-powered organ. And then the last is it's called the mechanical scribe, which looks to be a steam-powered printing press.
If I gotta be quite honest, I think this clock right here has my attention quite well.
Yeah, there's a mechanism that pours water in from the top, and you can see through the face of it how the water's moving and making all the gears rotate.
And it's so because of the pace of the water flowing through, that's what's keeping the cogs moving at the right pace.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
So
the
basically,
speed
it's like
of water moving through it is
so it's like
controllable.
taking gravity to constantly flow it to make time move. That's freaking awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's like using water instead of sand, but instead of sand just collecting the water makes a bead that comes down to the
It kind of like cycles
rate.
through, so it pours through the top and then it picks it back up and brings it back to the top again.
Yep.
And that's cool. I like it.
But yeah, that's everything is roped off and clearly marked with "Do not touch" under any circumstances.
I wonder if they mind me adding a little water to this.
It would absolutely mind you adding some water to it. I'm pretty sure that they would not be happy with that.
Is this water clean? Can I take a glass of it?
Pick up the clock and turn it upside down, drinking out of it.
Just drinking out of it. It's fine. What? It's fresh water. It's fine.
Kind of hand clasped behind my back, not really touching anything, just observing.
I need perception checks from everybody.
Okay.
Oh shit!
Perception
Someone's enamored.
Just looking for something that catches my fancy. Not finding anything.
Flatfoot's like taking it all in. Like he's like, holy shit, this is weird. Like,
So
wow.
Flatfoot's the only one to get it, and it makes sense. The turtle in him recognizing water. There's a lot of water that's moving around in here. And as you start paying attention, that water is draining. And as you listen, you hear that water draining way below your feet. Like there is a definite chasm between the floor that you're standing on and whatever that water is impacting below you.
Like as if it's hitting a sewer below?
No, not like it's hitting a sewer, like it's hitting another chamber.
Like it's hitting a well or something, and it's yeah, okay. Okay. That's interesting. Alright, well.
Side quest unlocked. Look for ways underneath the Hall of Wonders.
That's quite the interesting predicament. You don't hear that.
Not sorry, I was distracted by this gizmo here. What were you saying?
So if you look at this clock here, if you watch the water, it's going to pour down, and as it pours down, it disappears. If you listen closely, you can hear it hit something very far off in the distance.
Kind of.
It's not so much noticeable as in the water clock as it is that mechanical, what they call the steam dragon.
Ooh, okay.
There's big buckets full of water that are, as you get closer, are cascading through bars on the floor. So it's flush. It's not like a pool, but you can look through it and see that that water is falling for some time. It sounds like it's crashing away.
So yeah, and he'll kind of point out that he hears it a little bit here, and then as they continue on and they make their way over to the steam dragon, he'll do the same thing, and he'll be like, hey, this again, do you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of listening and hearing it. I'll turn around. Is the acolyte still close?
He's not really paying attention. It's almost like he's lost in wonderment looking at the museum too.
Acolytes, where does that lead? Kind of pointing down to the grates.
He says, to the cistern, all the water is collected and taken back out to the harbor.
Ah, well, that makes sense. Quite convenient, I suppose.
And it's all fresh water then?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Everybody's talking to him.
That's a little better.
Man, I have some fucking amazing rolls tonight. As if this was like combat. I wish.
As you ask him the second question, you see he's clearly flustered. He's like, yes, no, it has to be salt water for the weight to be right.
Wait, so is it fresh water or is it salt water, my friend?
It's just water. There's no concern. It goes down into the cisterns, washed out to
obviously, there's reason for concern. I mean, salt water is salt water. You can't quite give that to somebody to drink or anything like that. So there must be a reason for it. I mean, which is it?
It's salt water is required for the weight consistency to be right for most of the Gandharan artifacts, but it's not enough to damage the water content of the gate, so we just dump it.
I mean, that's quite all right. I have no objections to you dumping the water. I'm a little concerned about your frustration there with it, but it's quite all right. If you tell me that they're dumping salt water back out into the ocean, well, that's just part of life. That's what we do. We're obviously going to take that salt water and take it as part of ours, but he kind of looks at him a little bit, like a little concerned that he was so flustered about it, and just kind of starts to let it go.
Yeah, he kind of caught it, like you caught him slipping, just trying to say something, like kind of tripped him up. No, he's like, no, it's fine. He's stoic again.
Good to know, I suppose.
Very well, so this feeds the salt water back out into the ocean, and everything's fine and dandy. We don't have any predicaments here, nothing to worry about. Everything's good.
Everybody make me a nature check. That's a check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me one of them.
Absolutely. Wow. A whole 1. I rolled a 2 to get a 1.
Havoc, you realize, you remember, again, having been around water, I mean, like, you know that salt water, especially like water from the sea, has a very specific pungent kind of smell. And that smell does not exist in here, which would make you believe that this is not salt water, that this is in fact...
All right, so can I argue that as a turtle, I would know that like by default?
I would, but you rolled a 1.
I know, but
So I'm gonna say no because you were distracted.
Okay.
Or
Yeah. Okay.
the moment.
Yeah, I could get it. Like, I'm not really thinking about that. I'm hung up on
Yeah.
the fact that he was
Like,
like arguing the
Like
fact
you
that it
would
was
know
salt
it,
water or
but it's in the
fresh water.
back of your head, right? Like you're like, yeah, like, I
Yeah.
know what salt water
Yeah,
is.
in the back of my head, I'm looking at him and I'm like, all right, why is he arguing this? This doesn't quite make sense. And yeah, then Archimedes is like, wait, no, hold on. This isn't salt water at all. That would make
Well,
sense.
I don't believe our kind of hushed tones as the acolyte's not paying attention again. I don't believe our friend here is being completely truthful, though I'm not too sure why he would be spinning tales regarding the source of this and the consistency of this water here.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, he said that this water was from the sea. It does not have the scent of the sea with it.
Can I perception check now and see if I
No,
can
like he
sense
brings it to your attention, you'd be like, damn it, you're right.
Okay. So with that, Flatfoot will look over at Archimedes and, kind of taking a sniff and be like, all right, well, I'm supposing that's why he was so flustered when I asked him about what type of water they're using here, but that begs the question, why would he be so concerned about the type of water? Or if it's trouble for them, why are they using fresh water instead of salt water?
Not too sure, but it may be related as to his hand-waving answer as to where this water leads, as I kind of motion at the grate again.
And Flatfoot will kind of nod, acknowledging the fact that he, sensed or heard the water crashing down below. And just kind of dismiss it for a second and try to continue on. Kind of like log it to memory.
Yeah, something to think about.
As you reach the other side of the room, there's another set of double doors, and the acolyte comes up and says, you can stay and browse as long as you'd like. But when you're finished, come see me, and I'll show you the way out.
Very well, thank you. Gonna start looking, is it through the double doors that he's leading us, or?
You're in a large chamber with all of, like, it's a big open area. So he's basically giving you time to go back and look at whatever you want to look at. But he's basically saying, like, when you're done, scram.
Just kind of like keep looking if you want, but otherwise,
if you want to look at something closer, go for it. But yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I want to, with this recent knowledge in mind, I want to kind of look around at any other devices or contraptions that may be pouring water of any kind, like into grates or anything.
So
is there anything else like that?
The clock.
The other one is the pump.
The pump, yeah.
Yeah, the pump's got water going through it, showing that, but that water is being pulled up and then immediately splashing down through a drain.
And the drain, like another graded drain on the floor? Or?
Mm-hmm.
If I listen to that one, does it sound like it's dropping a long way again, like the other one?
It does.
Yeah, kind of like the other one. Okay.
You can also notice now that you're looking along the floor, there's a couple other grates. It looks like these exhibits can all be moved around, but they're all set up next to or on top of a grate, some of which aren't currently in use.
Just kind of like drainage grates just in case.
Yep. So they can pour water wherever.
So from what I'm gathering of this museum is most of the items here depend on water, and they also use these drainage grates to drop below.
It's a Gond thing as well, especially with a tie-in with Baldur's Gate being around water and being a big merchant city, that a lot of them tie into their inventions.
Okay.
Okay. Is the art or the acolyte like paying any special attention to us?
He's keeping an eye on you, but I mean, he's not like watching your every move. Like if you spread out, he'd probably spend as much time looking just at things as he would at you.
Okay. I want to
You're
walk over
not
to one of
kids.
these.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not like, anybody's got to watch, really.
You said some of these grates are kind of out in the middle where we can see them more clearly, not behind ropes.
No, so all the exhibits are roped off. But, I mean, you could move behind one to one of the grates where you're not seen.
Yeah, I want to kind of sneak around to one of those. Trying not to be seen. I just want to get a closer look at one of these grates.
Yeah, you can go take a peek. If you disappear for too long, you'll probably be noticed.
Yeah, I just want to kind of get by one pretty quickly, and then I want to pull out one of these other stupid electrum pieces and cast, kind of covering as best I can, kind of holding it in my palm and covering it, cast light on it, and then drop it into the grate.
You watch this illuminated piece start falling, and it makes it to about 150 feet before it impacts running water and gets swept south of your vision.
Kind of hurriedly move back out where I'm not looking suspicious any longer. Does that seem like a reasonable distance for the cisterns and such, or is that
No,
deep?
God, that's so really deep.
Yeah,
down
like
there.
the sewers here would
okay.
be like 50 feet at most.
Yeah.
If that, yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
I mean,
at
it's right
most,
below
yeah,
your feet
you're at
on the
50
street.
feet, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna make my way back to the group and kind of tilt my head. Yes, to the cisterns, those grates do not lead. Based on what I just saw, that was at least 100 feet, if not further, that coin dropped before it hit water. I do wonder what is below here.
Well, he did mention that it goes out to the ocean, so perhaps that's just because it's the salt water that leads back out there.
Yes, but to go over 100 feet into the earth to lead out to the ocean, that doesn't seem quite right.
Well,
And fresh water being pumped to the ocean?
Yeah, and it's obviously not fresh water.
No, it's not salt water.
Or it's not fresh, or yeah.
Yeah,
That.
it is fresh water.
And once again, the proponent of pumping fresh water back out into the sea is very wasteful.
All right, well, then pray tell, what do you think is going to come of this? What do we need to look into this a little deeper? Perhaps try to throw our influence around and allow them to give us an investigation here, maybe?
Well, we don't have much influence, not yet at least here in the gate, but this does seem a bit mysterious as to why they would not be truthful about their methods here. Proud of their inventions rather, as they are. Why hide about the disposal of water seems insignificant, does it not?
It most certainly does, and again, cause of concern, considering that he started off saying everything was fresh water and then turned around and said, no, it's salt water. That's obviously a bit of concern.
Indeed. Kind of think for a moment.
Perhaps it's something to inquire about.
Yes.
Around town.
Yeah, looking around just real quickly, kind of motioning for everybody to start heading towards the acolyte. Am I seeing any stairways leading down, anything of that nature?
There are two doorways, like perpendicular to the building at the midsection, but those are closed.
Gotcha. Well, I've seen all I'd like to see. I think I would like to ask around a bit about our interesting discovery here. I could do that elsewhere, not here. Unless you would like to stay and observe anything else. Kind of glancing at the group.
As the rest of the group remains silent, Flatfoot will kind of look up and say, "No, I'm not quite sure I have any other questions. I have a feeling anything we ask this acolyte here is not going to be quite as truthful as we want, so perhaps it's better we go on."
Indeed. I'll kind of walk up, kind of motioning to the acolyte. Well, we've seen all your wonderful inventions here. I think it's best we start heading out, though. See what else we can discover in the city.
He says, as you will, and opens the door, and with the same metallic, like, resounding stop, the door that he's standing at, like, unlocks and opens, and down the hall is another set of double doors. He said, that will take you back to the street.
Oh, we thank you for your patronage, sir.
Kind of nod a bit to him as we pass by.
As you walk through the doors, he closes, and you look on the other side of this door is the same magical cog, and as he closes, the cog starts spinning again. With no discernible handles on the door.
Something tells me my friend, he couldn't find his ass with both hands in the back of his pockets. I'm having a feeling that we're not going to get the answers we want from him. We're going to have to search elsewhere.
Indeed. Can I start walking out of the temple? You said there's another set of double doors?
Correct, yeah, it's just a hallway.
Okay.
An antechamber on the way out.
No other doorways here? Just straight shot? Okay. Head to the other set of double doors.
Absolutely.
And we open them?
Yeah, as you go through, you see you hear the bustle as you approach the doors, and you walk back out into the exchange gate between the lower and upper cities, and the travel. Now that it's close to midday.
Okay. Well, moving back out. Was this going back through the stalls or somewhere else?
No, this is going back towards like the upper city.
Upper city, okay. Yeah, I just want to start walking down the city. As I'm glancing around, the hell would I be looking for here?
So at this point, the only other thing we have on the list to do is to go get food. Is that right?
Yep. Food, pick up your clothes.
Yeah, because we're still waiting for the final bells from the merchants.
How long do we have until close to the final bell? Like a few hours, I would guess.
Yeah, a couple hours.
Okay.
Well, if you would like to go partake in the food you were talking about, Flatfoot, we could do that. Maybe see if there's any aspiring locals that may know a bit more about this interesting underground mystery we found.
Yes, I have a feeling that a little bit of our ocean cuisine will suffice for the evening, and maybe we can ask around, try to find somebody that might give us some good answers here to, this mystery we've stumbled upon.
And I said, well, if you know what this place is, lead the way.
Kind of lead back over. I don't remember the name.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I don't remember the name of the place we're gonna go to.
Oh, it's the Hissing Stones bathhouse.
Oh, the bathhouse. I do remember the bathhouse part. I didn't remember the name of it.
It's like a spa.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where we're gonna head to.
Yeah, you make your way. You walk across the pier that's slightly populated from people kind of coming and going. But as you walk up to the tower, it splits, and to the left is the bathhouse, and to the right would be like the restaurant and tavern.
Okay. Yep. So we'll head over to the right side and request a table for the four of us.
So this is a kind of a finer dining establishment rather than being tables. They're all private rooms. So you can request a room, and they have individual offers for individual food or like family style, where they'll just bring out big plates for everyone to share.
We'll do individual room with the family style kind of platters.
Yeah. So they sign you in, sit you down, and they give you a small list of different ales and wines. And then they start bringing you food. And they start bringing you plates of absolutely incredible fresh food. It's all from the sea. So scallops, mussels, clams, oysters, both saltwater oysters and John Dothan oysters, which are freshwater oysters that are brought in from the river daily.
Mm-hmm.
There's squid, there's calamari, and all manner of fish, salt crusted, fried, basted, any way that you could think of being prepared, and in bunches. And as soon as you see one plate, another one's on its way in, and another one's on its way in.
Well, I must speak for your taste, Flatfoot. They are quite good. This food is delicious.
Oh, what can I say? My people know how to eat, and we know how to eat the right kind of foods. Makes a bit of sense that we'd be able to find a place like this in a city right across from the sea.
Bacon's just stuffing his face.
No, and you would
Literally,
be
like,
remiss to
handfuls.
miss any of this. It's just fire. Again, like, these people, they do business well and they eat well, and it's all fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as you eat, and drink and be merry, a couple hours pass. You see the sun starting to wane in the day, knowing that before business is over, you have to get back and gather your clothes for the Duke's address.
All right. How much do we owe the individual?
It's 1 trade bar per.
So that's how many?
4 trade bars are 20 gold.
So 1 gold then for 4 trade bars? Is that right?
5 gold.
5.
5.
Okay. Then Flatfoot's gonna hand over the gold he has and give it to the individual and pay off the costs of the meal itself.
They take the currency and go and exchange it. And when they come back, they hand each one of you a voucher. It's for a day in the spa. It comes with complimentary with your meal.
Nice.
This could be very useful to us on the morrow. Kind of glancing at a couple people in the party. We were told to be cleanly for our meeting with the Duke.
What are you trying to tell me? You
We're
saying I'm
still
not
on
cleanly
that.
enough for you?
No, I would never insinuate anything of the sort. It's just that I've heard that bathhouses can be quite luxurious, very relaxing. After our long trip here to the south, it could be good for us to partake in it. And we have vouchers, after all. Might as not waste them.
Flatfoot's gonna kind of like furl his eyebrows a little bit, look over at Archimedes and be like, "Alright, I'm on to you. I got it."
I have no idea what you could be insinuating,
No
sir.
idea.
Kind of turning my nose up a little bit. Yes, the bathhouses.
The bathhouses.
Well,
Yeah, the one other thing to take away is with the food, like, nobody stopped it, so they just, like, as a business, they just kept bringing you plates and plates and plates and plates and plates. Nobody was like, no, that's enough. I'm like, all right, cool, they're going to give you one of everything and charge you to the moon and back.
And Flatfoot paid for it.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, he
he's
did.
like, "Here you
He
go.
did.
Fine. I
And
said
all
I
of
was
your
taking them to
intestines are
dinner."
going to pay for it later.
Yep. Everybody else is gonna pay for his clothing. That's fine. We'll make that
That's what
happen.
you're going to need. New
That's
clothes
literally
after this.
him. Like, all right, I paid for your dinner last night, motherfuckers. Pay for my robe. It's fine.
well, after that scrumptious feast, shall we head back to Master Malcolm's Sprite and retrieve our clothing?
We should, before we spend any more money and can't buy our clothing.
Yes, that's an excellent
Yes,
point.
that we certainly wouldn't want something like that, now would we?
Yes.
I mean, I guess you guys kind of glossed over the fact that Lady Pickett said she'd pay for your clothing.
No, we heard that, but then I heard we would pay it back too, and I'm like, fuck you. I'll pay for my own fucking clothes.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, money's tight. Like, you know what? You let that woman pay for it.
Literally, Flatfoot went from having like 7 gold and 5 silver to 0 everything right now. He has no coin at all. Like, he literally handed all of his coin to everybody here in Baldur's Gate and is like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna survive, but
City
it's
life is
fine.
expensive.
This is fine.
All right, well, let's head back to the gnome shop then.
You make your way back on the pier and back to the Grey Harbor. And when you get there, Malcolm is nowhere to be found. You ask for him, and he said he's already taken off for the day, but he has parcels for you. And each one has your name in brown paper wrapped up in twine.
I was about to start cursing this motherfucker so bad. You have no
Yeah,
idea.
we
I
never
was
heard
gonna
him.
fucking...
Malcolm who?
Who?
Took our 2
Motherfucker,
gold pieces
I will
and
hunt
pieced
him
out.
down. We're making this happen.
Is there someone there to pay?
Yeah, there's a receipt for the rest.
Okay. And it was 15 gold pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, since Flatfoot did pay for our food, I'll pay 7. Can y'all do the other 5?
Yeah.
Belgut and Aiken?
Flatfoot's gonna open his
I'll throw
pouch.
5.
Yeah, he's gonna open his pouch and literally, like, I have nothing left. I can't.
An old shrimp tail's gonna fall out.
Yeah.
No, I'll toss in.
So 5 more from my 2 that I already gave.
No, we have 15. So 7. We'll need 8 more.
So
I'll just give the. You're giving it's 15.
Yeah, and I threw in 7.
I'll
So
give
if
4.
you got,
So
if you get
also
4 and 4, that covers
Also
all
in the
of it.
8.
Oh, you should take the full 8.
Yep.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right.
There we go. Yeah,
You guys fed me
nice
today.
pleasure doing business with
Thank
you. And slide the packages across the counter for you.
So then I can add 1 ornate cloak or ornate.
Maybe, like,
Oh, wait,
crack
wait.
open the parcels and like kind
Something?
of start looking at them.
You want to do it right now?
Yeah. Why not? Might as well take a look at it. We're here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
backpack.
You put on this goddamn shit.
So, kind of, in order. Archimedes, yours first is a like 1 piece, it's a top like a onesie kind of deal, but the front of it is got like a garb to go across like the high midsection, so it actually makes it look like 2 pieces with a cloak of matching color that clasps around the neck with a hood, but inside the cloak are small pouches.
No,
So actually
has
lined it
pockets.
with pockets.
You're wearing a onesie.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I took away from that. Like, you're wearing a onesie.
It's functional and
it's
lavish.
comfortable.
And comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel like I could sleep in this.
Aiken, he did his absolute best to rework your guard armor. So the colors are crisp, the grunge is down, but it's actually fits you. Like, it looks as the perfect length. It's not over tight, but it's still form fitting to allow you to move without it like bunching and getting crazy. It has a high necked collar is the only difference to make it more formal rather than it laying flat. For the shirt, and it's a pair of black pressed trousers, so floor length.
All right. That should do.
For Flatfoot, yours is a cloak, but the cloak underneath wraps around to the front, making almost like, I don't want to say the skirt, but that kilt kind of vibe on the front, and all of the material is that white. On the back of the cloak covers your shell and comes over your head, but unlike most hoods that would be made for a normal humanoid, this is a very shallow hem, so it pulls right to the top of your head without going over the rest of your face. But both the
Nice.
front piece and the back are all this white color with Saloon's silver crescent moon and her tears all sewn on.
Call it like 2 pounds, maybe.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Nice.
But it looks very white, like very decorative, very like, religious in purpose.
I'm in.
And then Belgid, you have what looks to be the most fashion-forward outfit. You are wearing what are fitted like the leather trousers, but they are like expertly cut to fit your form, as well as a button-down tunic with at the top, like it's buttons down the middle, and at the top is the drawstring with a very wide collar to allow your big neck to breathe. But a big collar on that as well, and the sleeves are actually cuffed up with a button at the top, so you can cuff them all the way up and button them formally. Like yours looks like sharp. Like he really went out of his way to make yours look like a rock star. You look like a completely different person.
Short brothers unite.
Mm-hmm. He want to make you look good. It's form fitting. It makes you look taller and slimmer.
Makes you look taller.
Yeah, lots of vertical lines.
Hold on.
He did you a favor.
Vertical,
you look like hot shit.
Vertical lines on a wide individual makes them look bigger.
Nah, horizontal lines will make you look big.
Is that
Let's
right?
just say it's black.
Then vertical lines give you the slimming look.
Okay.
Isn't black slimming?
I thought
Next
it was
title of the episode: D&D Fashion Week.
D&D
Yeah,
Fashion
right?
Week. I thought it was wide vertical lines.
Now
Man,
the wide ones are what make a wide person
Yep,
look wider.
nope. Okay, I'm wrong. Yep, got it.
I gotta dress nice for work. So, yeah, you gather your clothes. So we can, if you guys are interested in go more fast forward to the meeting, we can do that, or we can continue on like with RP for the full second day too. It's completely up to you. Just what you guys want to do.
Do you need to go?
I've got, like I said, like
If
half
you-
hour, 45 minutes. So if you want to RP the whole second day,
Well,
we can.
you
but
said
we
you
just
had to
stop
go
soon.
at 10 Eastern, so...
Yeah, I could keep going. My day got easier, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't
it's
bad.
up to you. If you need to stop, we can stop here, and we can just pick up, and that's fine.
Well, that's why I wanted to post it to you guys. If you wanted to, RP out the second day, you can just kind of move through it if there wasn't anything you wanted to do.
I mean, aside from going to the Temple of Saloon, that's the only thing I had going on, so it's really up to the rest of the group.
Yeah, I mean, we can... The only thing I would do is kind of explore around, find any locals, and just kind of offhandedly inquire about any deep recesses beneath the city that might explain what happened in the Temple of Gond.
You should
but I don't
pose
have
that
to full RP
question
then.
to Cask, the barman.
Barman. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can ask
generally a
that.
good person to ask about rumors and stuff, bartenders.
Yeah,
or
so as
bar.
we
Stumble
get
across
done shopping and stuff, with it fresh in my mind, as we get back to the Purple Worm, you can go up to Barmaster Cask and just kind of inquire about it, see if he knows anything about any deep tunnels that may be running under the lower city.
Yeah, he kind of laughs like, "Oh, you already heard rumors of the hidden vault, did you?"
The hidden vaults? No,
What?
I
Yeah,
haven't
rumor
heard anything.
says there's deep beneath the Hall of Wonders is a hidden area. They got those exhibits that they bring up to the top. This holds all of them. That's where they bring them from.
You call it the hidden vault?
Mm-hmm. The rumor has it that the secret entrance is located under the grand altar in the High House of Wonders, but nobody's given that a shot.
This is morning after, right?
No, the same day,
Ah.
like nighttime. He's
Oh,
going
okay.
back. He kind of
Okay.
chuckles to himself. He's like, "You see all the locks they got on the shelves? Could you imagine if they had a vault, all the locks that would be on it?"
Yes, they would seem that they're very protective of their creations, I suppose.
He just kind of laughs and waves his hand. It's like they're not protective, but they're like making things. And so when they make things, they value them, and then they want to use their inventions, their locks and gizmos to keep them put away. It's a holy thing. I don't pretend to understand it.
Glance over at Flatfoot. Yes, I don't quite understand it all either.
Not quite exactly what Saloon would teach, but I guess I could understand. Tell me more. What else you know of this?
Nah, they say there's a myriad of secret passageways, but I mean, just rumor.
Passageways. You happen to know where there's an entrance to those passageways?
Not up here. We're all folks on the up and up in the upper city. That's a lower city question.
Right. Well, happen to know anybody in the lower city that might have some information for us then?
Cetera kind of, rubs his shoulders. He's like, I would bet you if you had to go somewhere, the Elf Song Tavern, there's probably someone down there that would tell you something.
Elf Song, they're very kind to my folk. Not gonna run into any situations down there, right?
Oh, in a lower city, you're bound to run into a lot of situations, Master Tortle. I wouldn't suggest going down there by yourself.
Oh, you could see my friends here. I'm not gonna go anywhere by myself.
As is probably for the best. At least not at night.
Very well.
Kinda nod.
So we'll head down there and give these elves a bit of what for, so we could try to figure out a little something about this vault you talk of.
You have not progressed far enough in the storyline to continue. You're not high enough level to enter this area yet.
Here's your warning.
Bitch, it's D&D.
Turn away.
Let us go die.
Here's your warning. Turn away.
Well, I think that's kind of turning away and thanking Cask for the information. Kind of turning her to the rest of the group and say, well, we do have that meeting in a couple days. As much as I do love a good mystery and want to know a bit more about this hidden vault that Cass spoke of, we should focus on the job at hand and at least see this meeting at the silver, the silver thing. Silver Shield
Silver
Estate.
Shield.
I had Silvermane there first, and
Something.
I was like, wait, that's not the right
Silver
person at all.
something. Silver something. I know it's not right.
Wrong
but it's Silver
campaign.
something.
Silver fist, silver hat, silver something.
Damn it.
There's dinner that's being served. It's complimentary, which looks suspiciously just like breakfast. And there's some festivities around the bar for the evening, or turn it
Look,
in.
if there's more, is there more of that sausage we had before?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Flatfoot's gonna snack on that. Like, that's fine.
Lunch on some
Master
sausage.
Cask is dinner free as well.
All meals are complimentary here.
Ah, excellent. Run over and grab some sausage.
Absolutely.
Just in case. Might as well get a full belly before going to bed.
Once again, opens his coin purse, seeing nothing in there, and just gonna pull the strap tight and just be like, "No, it's fine. It's fine."
Keep touching it. There's no jingle.
Yeah, there's nothing. Like, pats on it. It's like completely empty. Just air poofs out of it.
All right, yeah. Grab some dinner, head to bed, and I'm down for hand waving the next day. Just overview of what we did.
Yeah, I don't have money to shop anything.
Yeah, again, the only thing I was doing was going to the temple, gonna do what I could, perform some rituals or healing magic, things of that nature. Do what I could at the temple.
You see the traffic picks up a little bit. There's more people making their way to the upper city. People that are just grabbing a room for the night. But this event, the hubbub in the main areas are definitely about the address. The first time that one of the dukes is going to address anyone in the city after the fall of the cult.
Okay.
So yeah, you get up the next day. I'm assuming you guys want to go use the spa and get all pretty.
Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
ready at the spa.
Yep.
The only
Flat-
thing I want to take away from that is Belgut's beard would be giant and fuzzy because it got brushed and combed out.
Flatfoot would go, but it would be after performing his duties at the temple.
Oh yeah, and they
So,
would
yeah.
spoil you there. Being a sea, they would have seen their fair share of turtles and have special brushes for your shell.
Yep.
Make you
Awesome.
look all sparkly and clean.
Super sparkly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you begin, going through your day again with breakfast, and as midday starts to approach, you gather your things and get dressed, and start making your way to House Silver Shield. Almost fell. It was unfortunate. Yeah, if I almost fell sitting down. That's always impressive, right?
That's talent.
Yeah, you start making your way in the hustle and bustle. People are now lining up in droves watching the soldiers. They have unbeknownst to you, a parade that's happening beforehand. So this is definitely, a morale boost for the city. As you make your way to the gate, you were ushered through as a small group, as a list is being checked off with your names on it. You start making your way. You're not quite as early as you thought you were going to be. You start hearing horns signing the assembly as you make your way into the courtyard. The courtyard is something of splendor. There's 3 stories on each side, and the third story at the top is a wall-less vista where people are gathered to watch the courtyard below. In the center of the courtyard on the second story is a grand balcony. All along the walls are adorned with tapestries that are hung from the roof. There are trumpeters stationed at major corners and 2 on either side of the balcony, blaring horns as people start to congregate and assemble. As you look around towards the center, there are singular individuals wearing emblazoned fists, signing that they are part of the Flaming Fists. But all of them are wearing garb that looks to be of the same caliber, if not better, of Lady Pickett. As the horns begin to blare again, everyone stands in line and you shuffle into your designated spot as the man in front of your open stable, essentially, starts waving you on. With a resounding second blare of horns, a man appears on the balcony, dressed in gray and silver with red linens and silks that are impressive even from this distance, and he begins to speak. I am Duke Entar Silverhand. I wrote wrong here. Silvershield. I have gathered you here today to ask for your swords and shields, your hammers, your pikes, your arrows, and your spells. And as he waits for a pause, as applause erupts. As he waits for a second, he says, "Though the mighty cult is all but defeated, they are still a threat which must be addressed. Baldur's Gate and the Sword Coast thank you all for heeding my summons." He waits again as applause and a small uproar from everyone in the audience. In front of your ranks stands one of my best captains, who will explain all pertinent details, give you your individual missions, and will serve as a future liaison to you and your brethren. Go forth and rid the Sword Coast of those who wish it ill, and help restore peace, prosperity, and good fortune to all its inhabitants. May Lathander light your way, Gond lead your fortune, and Brando Barbarous save his tricks for others. Godspeed. And a chorus of drums and horns and cheers erupt as he waves his hands and slowly turns and recedes through the archway from which he emerged. To give you another idea with the lay, there are now, you make 6 total groups standing in this, some actually all larger than yours in number. The well-dressed soldier in front of you snaps to attention when the Duke finishes the last of his words, and once he's inside, relaxes almost to a slouching position. From his back, behind his cloak, he withdraws a length of wood and leans on it heavily as he turns to face you. As he faces you, now see at this distance his features are weathered by time at least, but looking closely at the scars on his face and neck, combat has certainly not been avoided. One sunken eye on the right side of his head stares at you, while an eye patch adorns his left. Through a gnarled smile and reddish-gray beard, he addresses the group. I'm Captain Embermane. I'll be your handler for as long as you should choose to stay under the employ of House Silvershield. Understood?
Oh, shit.
Understood? Yes.
With an elbow over towards Archimedes, going to be like, you know, he didn't mention anything about Saloon when he was making his little speech there.
Yes, well, there's so many of them, can't call them all out, otherwise we'd be here all day.
Saloon's the only one that matters. I would have hoped he would have said something.
Yes. Kind of looking, then this particular captain that you described is the one, like, centered in front of our group, right?
Yep. He turned around and leaned on his walking stick to make his way towards you.
How many people were kind of in our group? Is it just us, or is there others?
Yeah, just you.
Just the four of
Okay.
us.
Yeah, just the four of you.
I'll kind of look towards Captain Embermane, nodding my head. Says, yes, quite right. So as a handler, what does that mean exactly? What would you have us do?
Each one of you will be given a similar mission in different areas, different principalities to cover as much ground and complete this as soon as we can.
So, what are we doing? Are we babysitting a bunch of little toddlers, or are we going to be searching out some criminals?
And your troop has been assigned a kill detail. You've been charged with heading south along the coastway to Baragast, where it'll be your duty to hunt, capture, and kill any remnants of the cult you may find. There's a 25 gold bounty on each one of their heads.
Well, that quite works out to our favor, considering all of us here want to see the cult disappear. We'll take your duty and make way immediately. When is this due back to you?
This is a standing offer. Word is spread now to all Flaming Fist captains. You can, anytime you see a Flaming Fist outpost anywhere along the Sword Coast, you can turn in proof of your cultist slain and they'll pay out.
So question, do we need the entire head or will an ear suffice?
As long as you're not turning in a left and a right to count the bounty, we'll be okay with it.
Right ears only, got it.
Very well. We'll take this bounty immediately and do what we must, and I'll put these lesser than beings to rest as we do so. Thank you for your time. Is there anything else you require of us?
He reaches kind of towards his back on his good side and pulls out a much larger pouch that was tied to his belt. Like, these are your retainer. 25 platinum pieces apiece to make sure you're properly outfitted for your journey. We expect weekly communiques via messengers through the Flaming Fists or other missives. Should you find yourself venturing outside of Flaming Fist territory, I expect to be made aware of your travels and be contacted as quickly as possible upon your return. Should you abandon your mission or fail to maintain communication, you will be considered enemies of the Fist, Baldur's Gate, and House Silvershield, which is a mistake you should strongly consider avoiding.
Well,
Yes, of course. We have no interest in becoming enemies and such. We came here for the glory of the Sword Coast, of course.
Flatfoot began to speak up, and as soon as Archimedes started talking, he's like, yeah, nope, it's better I don't speak. It's fine.
Just jutting myself in
Nope,
real quick.
it's fine. Nope, I'm not going to do that.
So you said
Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
you said to return with, ghastly manner, I suppose, body parts to prove our slaying of the cultists. Are we to do anything else? Interrogation, learning anything of imports from them, or just slay the rabble?
Use your imaginations. The more that you seek, the bigger the payday. So my thought would be, you find some of them, you figure out where more of them are. Make them squeal.
Can we get a little back pay for the 6 or so that we've already taken care of when we came here?
Where's your proof?
I mean, we're still standing in front of you, aren't we? And I believe, kind of tap over to Archimedes. What was that lady's name again?
Kind of thinking it's like, referring to Lady Pickett?
Yes. Considering Lady Pickett already
And when you
heard
say
of our
Lady Pickett-
achievements.
He stops to address her by rank if you're going to use her name.
Yes. I'm still learning the formalities here. I do apologize. Yes, the Gauntlet Major, Lady Pickett.
Yes, Gauntlet Major Lady Pickett. She already is quite aware of the situation that we have dealt with when we were on our way here to Baldur's Gate.
Well, that means you're off to a good start. It's like I'd break the bankroll if I got a 25 gold for every cultist I'd slain. You got catching up to do.
Of course. Just as a brief inquiry so that I don't mess things up in the future, your rank is captain, is it not, Embermane?
Correct.
What is that rank in comparison to a Gauntlet Major such as Lady Pickett?
Lesser than, if I had to surmise.
This captain, Gauntlet and Gauntlet Major.
Yes. So, as I had said, lesser than. So,
That
Gauntlet
just kinda
Major.
humps and spits on the ground at your feet.
No, that's quite alright. I come to expect that kind of reaction from your type. But that's alright. Your gold and platinum spends just the same. We'll go ahead and take your offer and we'll continue on from here. Thank you.
One more thing. In each one of those bags, it's been split up. To prove you're part of this endeavor, there's a leather bracer. It's to be worn on your left arm. It bears the symbol of the house Silver Shield. And as you kind of open up the bag and look at it, it's a leather bracer with a metal band that runs from the wrist up the forearm, almost to the elbow. And on this, 3 different times are bald fists wreathed in gold flames on a backdrop of a silver shield.
So, the implication that it's involved with the Flaming Fist.
Yep, this is like a writ. So this is saying you're involved with House Silver Shield, part of the Flaming Fist and Baldur's Gate.
Oof.
It is directly related to the house, not the others. It's fine, Flatfoot. It's money in the pockets.
This is to be worn at all times.
Flatfoot's gonna take it in his hand and not put it on yet. This is big. Like, to him this is big. And he can't bring himself to put the Flaming Fist emblem on his skin.
Well, we'll work that out later, I believe. Any other orders, Captain Nimbermain, or just head south to, you said towards Belgast?
Beregast.
Beregast.
Beregost.
And
The only
Beregast is
other-
a city, or?
Correct. Trading post with walls, more like it. Got hit pretty hard in the campaign against the cult.
And how far south is this?
It's halfway between here and So, about 2 week, 10-day travel
10 day?
on the road,
Okay.
on foot.
About a 10 day away. Okay. Just organizing my notes. Well, very well. That seems fairly straightforward, and rest assured, we will seek out more information. I think it would benefit everyone if we could root out the cause or the location of the rest of the rabble all at once.
One other thing, in your territory, there's been rumors of people now feeling safe enough to travel to Candlekeep and getting ambushed on the Way of the Lion. The Way of the Lion is the road off of the coastway that leads to Candlekeep.
Well, that seems as good a place as any to start then. Though anybody trying to ambush us will have a bit of a bad time, I think.
Yeah, but anybody strong enough to operate near Candlekeep is someone to be afraid of.
Certainly, you've never seen my abilities. It's quite alright. It's okay for you to underestimate me, though, Flaming Fist.
Well, we'll take that under advisement. Report back, if I'm kind of thinking back to myself, just report back to Flaming Fist encampments with word of our kills and such, and any information, and that will reach your ears. Is that all correct?
We don't word of your kills. They'll return to us when you prove your bounties. All I need from you is your location and where you're headed. Any pertinent intel on cult movements or activities.
Very well.
That'll be all. Set out as soon as you'd like, but sooner rather than later. With that, he kind of hawks back at other Lugi and spits on the ground again and just nods and sends you on, towards the way you came in.
I quite agree. The sooner the better.
Sour face turned back to the group. Well, our interesting captain aside, this seems fairly straightforward, and despite the means, we'll accomplish our goals of being able to find cultists and kill and question them in short order. Seems straightforward enough. Everyone fine with this course of action?
At least the Gauntlet Major had a little bit of respect. Can't quite say I'm much fond of this individual here. But yes, I'm in. I'll do whatever I can.
You very much get the idea that this is a frontline person who's now, either through injury or old age, been relegated to backline duties.
Yep.
He has no part in bureaucracy. He's here out of necessity.
Yeah.
And
Not a fellow that we'll have to interact with much, it seems, so that's good.
And Flatfoot's dealt with enough of the Flaming Fist to understand that this kind of individual is run amok through the entire Flaming Fist,
through the ranks, yeah,
the
for sure.
entire ranks. That's the kind of individual we're going to deal with. So,
well, it seems we're able to set out on our own, as I'm kind of eyeing the gauntlet and then shoving it back in the bag. But kind of eyeing over to Flatfoot especially. Seems at the very least our money troubles are over for the time being.
I'm much appreciative of no longer being bankrupt here. And again, pulling at the coin purse and seeing nothing in there and pulling the strap tight, being like, well, guess we have a job to do. I'm privy to go wherever you guys believe we should go here, but I'll be quite honest with you. I'm not quite a fan of dealing with these individuals, so as little involvement as they have in our lives, the better.
That'll kind of nod. I can respect that, Flatfoot. At the very least, we just need to report back to them, and if you want no part of that particular business, I can take care of it. Until then, we can just focus on getting paid to do something we already plan to do anyway.
And that, my friend, I agree with you on. I am wholeheartedly, whole hog in with this decision.
I will assume that means you agree.
Whole hog.
Kind of turn back towards Belgut and Aiken, say, well, shall we arm up and prepare for the road and set off in the morning at first light?
You had me at arm up.
Yes, I'm sure you're dying to get back into your pokey armor. Kind of adjusting my onesie.
Let me kill shit.
I was
Very
thinking,
well.
you're adjusting. You just wiggle your hips a little bit. And then it'll fall right into place.
I do miss the feel of the boom suit around me, though I feel a bit naked without it. We could set off into the city, find some traveling supplies and such, anything else we may need, and we could set off after another night with the free food at Purple Worm.
Well, perhaps, Archimedes, if you were a little better at spellcasting, you wouldn't have to use the boom suit quite as much.
It's a professional hazard that I must deal with my research and such, and the boom suit does come in handy in a scrap, so that's why I wear it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I certainly understand. And with that, Flatfoot's gonna kind of look away and just like, okay, sure. I've never had any issues with my spellcasting.
Just kind of shrug and say, well, it came in helpful sometimes, and start walking out of the estate yard and start heading back into the city.
Yeah. So, like, you all got some cash now. Anything that you really want to go grab? Is this got accessible at, fair market pricing? Should you want to buy any high dollar items, exchanging into the trade bars is probably the best bet. You'll get better deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, just exchange as much as we can to trade bars, and I don't,
Not all of it.
but I don't really have anything I need. I mean, I could argue for like potions of healing, like some just baseline potions of healing, but other than that, that's all I would really need.
No,
right
no,
now.
literally, there's nothing not available. Like, if you want it, the answer is yes, and then I'm just gonna figure out price and quantity.
So if I get... So I'm looking at like equipment packs. The Scholars Pack has a bunch of random stuff into it, but some of the things in it are a bottle of ink and ink pen and parchment. Is any of that going to be good for inscribing spells?
No, it's special parchment, special inks.
Okay, I need to look at the prices for that because I have none and I would like to buy some.
Yeah, the only thing I would want. So how much did we get?
25 platinum pieces.
25. So if we split that...
No, a piece.
Oh, 25 platinum a piece.
Yeah, 100 100 all the way across the board.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you were given a meaty retainer. I mean, Duke Silver Shield is the merchant king.
Then I would look for... I would look for... Aside from potions of healing, the only other thing I would really want to find is like a bracer of protection. So something that's gonna boost my AC just a little bit.
Give me give me a was it Arcana check?
Yeah.
Or a ring of protection or something.
You realize as you're kind of eyeballing the rest of the gear that there is definitely some magic imbued in this bracer.
Okay. Okay. As we're walking through, kind of heading towards the shops and everything, as we kind of get in there and everybody starts looking around for things, I want to kind of lean against the wall for 10 minutes, and I want to ritual cast Identify on this bracer.
You, as the magic starts to unfold, you get two distinct spells that are woven into this. One is defensive, so these are bracers of protection, but they also have a blue divination hue. You realize it's a divination spell of some kind, and you can see that it is dormant. but it doesn't have a trigger that you can discern.
Interesting. So it has a second trait that we can't quite figure out.
You can see what it does. You can see that it is divination,
Right.
but it doesn't have a discernible spell associated with it.
So like we look at it and we understand, yes, there's divination magic to it, but we don't know what it's actually going to do.
Correct.
That's cool.
And it does require attunement. Oh,
Okay.
you learn what spell was used in creating it. So the spell that you see that was used in creating it is Dimensional Anchor.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So it's bracers of defense, you said?
Correct.
Okay,
Plus
so
one.
that's plus 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I'm gonna go into my bio and add that to my treasure. Bracer of
And
house.
the silver shield bracer.
Silver shield bracer. Okay. Plus 1 to
Roll me a D10, Flatfoot.
What's that?
Give me a D10.
D10.
So you'll find a total of 3 potions of healing available.
Okay. Standard potions of healing.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. 2d4.
50 gold each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will take those 3.
All right.
Excellent.
I am going to. Let me go back to equipment here. Sources, player's handbook. Okay. I would like to obtain 100 gold pieces worth of material components and fine inks and such, so that I could possibly write down 2 new spells if I discover anything.
Okay. Easy enough to find. There's a couple wizarding shops. Wizards are big here. They're not frowned upon. If anything, they help move merchandise faster, and their wares are worth more, generally speaking. So yeah. The best shop in town is the one in the lower city, the Sorceress Sundries. Specifically for spell components. There's another place called Garmult, Garmult', House of Mastery. And that is the magical item store. The Emporium.
Where's that located? In the upper city?
That's in the upper city. Yeah, but they're basically like a storefront for trading wares. They're not there for the construction. They're ones that already exist.
Right.
That's the place you go and drop off magical loot.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't want to sell anything I have, so I want to keep those scrolls.
So do I find a bracer, cloak, or anything like that of protection while I'm looking around?
There are. Let's see. Give me a D4.
D4. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
No, you do not.
Oof. Rough.
You get kind of the racist vibe. Like, yeah, we're not interested in doing business with you, Tortle.
As I've come to expect of the rest of the realm here, it's fine. I didn't have an opinion of the Sword Coast before I came here, and I certainly have one now.
Well, you had
I
the spot
100%.
treated you like a king.
I 100% had an opinion of the Sword Coast, aside from the spa that has treated me amazingly.
Right. To be fair, you have been kind of hostile the entire time you've been here.
I have,
I mean,
but I've also
like unwarranted, but
yeah, I've also ran into individuals that are literally the opposite of everybody I would want to run into from where I'm from.
I mean, the Flaming Fist is like the militia arm of Baldur's Gate.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for Flatfoot.
Yeah, right.
Because Flaming Fist and Chult are, yeah, no, Chult. They're like, no, you don't know. No. You don't want that.
Yeah, a bunch of crazy barbarians in Chult anyway.
Fucking assholes.
So yeah, any other shopping requests? Anything else you guys are looking for?
Could I either update my shield or my axe? Not
What do you mean?
necessarily to better represent the Flaming Fist.
Oh, okay. So you want to go get like something emblazoned on axe or shield?
Yes.
Cool. You can go to a blacksmith and probably have them put something together for you. Depending on if you wanted it like metal worked on there or just like, have some special inks or powders that dye like smelted on it, like for coloring.
Probably metalwork.
Yeah, you can find. How much does a shield cost?
It costs 10 gold pieces.
So yeah, for 2 gold, you can have it modified to basically have whatever you wanted on there.
And you said it was 5 gold pieces for 1 iron bar, right?
For 1 trade bar, yeah. And the trade bar, the name doesn't belie the truth. It's a small. Think of it like kind of like a dollar bill, but made out of metal. It's thicker. It's not like a bar of iron. It's like a small bill.
Okay. I'm gonna spend 5 platinum pieces to get 10 of those, if I'm doing math right.
Yeah. 5 of those 10 gold. No. Platinum piece 10 gold, 50 gold.
Oh, 50 gold, so
Yeah.
that would be
10. 10 trade bars.
Yeah. 10 trade bars for 5 platinum. Okay. Alright. That way I have something to trade here, maybe get better rates. Alright, I'm fine with shopping.
Zorn? Aiken?
I don't have anything I need.
Cool. Pocket it. So yeah, you can go back to the Purple Worm and spend the rest of your night. And as you tuck in and get ready to set out on your journey on the morrow, is where we're going to end the evening for the night, or end the session for the night.
In the evening for the night. Okay.
Yeah.
It's now night.
Yeah,
Now what?
We done. We done. We ain't finished.
Yeah.
So, I do have one quick question.
Sure.
So we skipped over second day, right?
Yes.
Nothing of importance happened while Flatfoot was at the
Nope.
temple.
Aside from spa day.
Okay. Yeah, because
I just
his
figured spa day would be
entire
the second day.
purpose
That's what they do.
of that day was like heal others, take care of them, try to treat them, do what he could, and that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice. You can chip in.
Yeah, like just help the community in general, like a lawful good kind
in any
of
way that you can.
paladin or cleric would.
For sure. Yeah, it's just greatly appreciated.
Okay. No, I'm good with that. I just wasn't
be
sure
in
if
good standing with the clergy.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was anything that was going to come up of that, him trying to spend time there.
Yeah, you would. Let's see. Hold on. You would meet the head priest. Let's see. I don't know if he's an actual character or not. I'll get to you with his name just so you have it.
Great.
That way you have a point of contact at the
Yep.
at the temple.
And I imagine Baldur's Gate's going to be like a point of contact for us, like back and forth through the campaign.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Okay.
Well, I mean, could be. It's up to you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that'd be good. So yeah, message me the name of the head priest, and yeah, I'll be good.
Dope.
Hell yeah.
All right. Say bye to stream. I'm gonna end stream here.
Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
All right, guys.